be able to assimilate what we have for you today. You know, before long, we're probably going to be charging for this workshop. And so you're getting in early at a good time now. In the chat, let me know if you can be able to hear me and see me. And if so, that would be awesome. Let me know in the chat if you can see me and if you can hear me. And we're going to be getting rolling here. Just want to let you guys know there's a lot to cover, okay? So one of the things is some people try to kind of listen in the background. And I'm telling you right now, trying to just listen auditorily is not really going to work too well. It's just not. Okay, so if you try to do that, you're going to miss a lot because so much of this is visual. All right, and you want to be able to watch actually what's happening. Okay, so that's why we make sure to just getting this all set up. Let me know if you can hear me and see me in the chat. All right, and we'll turn the lights up and get this rolling. Okay. So welcome out. It's a good day, definitely a good day. Okay. And we'll get rolling. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me and see me. And here everybody comes. And we're gonna get rolling. So remember, guys, this is gonna be a lot different. Like what you're gonna see and witness today is going to be a lot different than what you may think you're going to get or expect, okay? What you're going to see is a lot of things that fly in the face of what you've been taught, but you're gonna understand why too. So just stay with me here on this, because some of the places I'm gonna go right away, some of you who have been kind of, you know, locked into certain ad trainers and marketing gurus are gonna, you know, it's kind of like someone who's religious, you know, like if you talk about a different religion, then you're like, you're wrong, you know, and you don't even want to try to listen to it. You're not open to it. I would encourage you to be open today, because what I'm going to do today is substantiate what I'm telling you. And I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, after spending millions and millions in our agency among our clients and consulting our clients over the past, you know, few years, and being a marketer for 10 years, and specifically doing this at a level of, you know, 6 to 7 years of purifying and optimizing this long copy process, that it just works so much better, okay? So I'm gonna show you what matters about it, and just make sure that you pay attention, because you're gonna wanna walk away with, you'll have quite a bit to walk away with today, okay? But you've got to visually pay attention and stay with me on this. This is gonna be a wild ride, okay? So just let me know in the chat if you can hear me and see me, and we'll get rolling. Okay, looks like we got a decent crowd out. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go right into it. And Matt, all you gotta do is text me if any issues arise. And I'll see it in Slack too. So yeah, let's do it. All right. So I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna jump right into this. And, you know, hopefully, you know, everyone's all right. Let me know if you can, you know, how you're doing today and where you're from, okay? And one of the best things you wanna do is sign in to Chatroll over on your right of the screen, is sign in with your name so I can address you by your name when we take questions, okay? So that's the, getting an error when you play the video, yeah, refresh. There it is. Okay, so turn up your speakers. Some of you may not be able to hear me. But sign in with your name rather than guest. Sign into chat role itself, so I know, so I can address you by your name. Okay, let's have a conversation here. Let's make sure it's done right. Okay, so let's roll into this. What you're going to see today is a little bit different than what most people are going to teach you, and this is what's working now and what's going to work more into the future as other things continue to die out. And I want to show you some of those trends. So, all right, Sarah in the UK, Salvador, right on. Sarah, cool. Okay, let's get rolling on this. Okay, so I usually don't go full screen. Just because I'm usually messing with stuff and retyping stuff and things like that. So that's kind of one of the things that we don't have to worry about. So if some of you ask like, hey, why don't you go full screen? I don't ever go full screen. I just go just like this. Okay, so let's do this. This is our system for writing predictably high converting, fully scalable Facebook ads without hiring a pro copywriter. Okay, now if you are one, you might be a little handicapped to these methods. And I'll explain why. However, doesn't mean you can't learn them. Doesn't mean that it's not going to work well for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll through this. So, how we contextually target with text. That's one of the big takeaways I want you guys to understand about this class today is contextually targeting. Ultimately, what it means is because the algorithm is smart enough through its machine learning process and its artificial intelligence to be able to scan text and understand context. And what you've got to do is put the right elements inside your text, which allow the algorithm to go and find the right people. But the problem is so many people are taught to use laser targeting, which means they're going to have issues when they try to target with their text because they're doing very small audiences. And what happens is it doesn't give enough of an audience for the algorithm to choose from to find the right people, and it chokes the algorithm from being able to find the right people. So just think about that premise here as we go through, all right? So it increases ROI 2x to 5x. This is just about every single time one of our clients come to us. We hear this, we see their results from before, and we come in and we immediately get better ad results, and that translates to better conversions and return on investment. Okay, using our codified approach, using proven formulas, tested on over 1.5 million in the last year, just about. It's actually way more than that now, but that's been, we've spent millions and millions over the years. So this is just what we can substantiate in the last year because that's what Business Manager shows us. And remember, this is without hiring a professional copywriter. So if you are an agency, you may want to tweak the way your copywriters will write ads for social media, because social media copywriting is fundamentally different than regular on-funnel copywriting. Okay, there is a major difference, and that's the big sea change that I'm going to explain to you here on this call. But I want to substantiate this to let you guys know this is just a quick screenshot from a while back, earlier this year, and just the last 12 months is what it gives us, right? Total spend, 1.5. This is just our Business Manager across 19 ad accounts that we don't run all of them, but we have access and we consult a lot of our clients. So we're watching and consulting, which is most of what we do now. We're not always taking on new clients. We're not here to try to get you to come work with us as a client where we are managing and running your ads. We have very limited bandwidth for that. And so what we're here today is to also give you guys an offer at the end, once we prove all of this, to give you our do-it-yourself kits that have all of our templates, our checklists, our formulas, our ad frameworks, our setup process, our optimization process, our troubleshooting worksheets and checklists, all of those things that help you make sure that your ad actually works, because this is really about the messaging. There's a mantra I've been telling people in our group recently, which is, you can have a crappy ad with the wrong elements, and no matter what amount of great optimization hack or technique or campaign structure you use, your ad is still not going to work. However, if you have a great message with the right elements, then you can screw up a lot of your optimization, and all of those little tricks and hacks all of a sudden become very irrelevant. And as long as you have a large enough audience, your proper message elements are going to give you measurable results. Okay, so the real secret to Facebook ads is not the optimization and what's the greatest optimization, what's the click, what's 7-day window, 1-day window, bid caps and all that stuff. That actually doesn't, like that, like out of 80-20, like the 80-20 rule you always hear, like 20% is the optimization, 80% is the message itself. So today we're focusing on the message and talking a little bit on the optimization, simply because there is some of that there. I'm not going to deny that, but the main core of it is the message. That's the thing that moves. You ask any marketer or copywriter, or you ask anybody who's successful in business, what's the most highest paid skill to have in marketing? And they say, well, it's copywriting, the ability to sell. People can learn all these different things. They can learn how to put funnels together. They can learn how to do social media. They can learn how to do all these different tech things. It doesn't matter if you don't know how to move your product and persuade and influence ethically, okay? So what it comes down to is messaging, messaging, messaging. What does your message say? How is it said? Are the right things being said? That's what it's about. The rest can be figured out. The rest are mechanics, okay? But if you don't have a good message, you've got nothing, okay? No matter all these skills you learned, doesn't matter. So all these people talk about the latest trick and hack and secret about Facebook Ads Manager, forget about it. Because what really matters is, instead of listening to them train you, watch how they're selling, watch how they're teaching. Some of the biggest gurus out there teach completely different than what they actually do. And you actually learn more from watching how they sell versus what they teach you, okay? So by the end of this workshop, okay, this live training, our contextual targeting approach, okay, that's going to be our first major one, that eliminates the laser targeting myth parlayed by so many gurus and trainers. Also, why pro copywriters are actually handicapped when it comes to social media copywriting, okay? And I'll explain that. Then you guys have seen this video called The 5 Fallacies of Facebook Ads and how you can correct them, okay? You've seen that video. We're going to walk through each of these to where all of the training in here, the contextual targeting approach, the 3 trade secrets, everything else is going to prove how these 5 points are actually just flat out wrong and completely philosophical. Hey, Pearl, Bethany, Kirsten, right on, right on. Lisa, right on. Cindy in Kansas. Okay, I'm not going to remember your names from when you just have guests. So you may want to just, re-sign into chat role. Well, I know once, then no, don't do that. Just stay where you're at. You're good. I'll try to remember you. All right. So the next thing, obviously, our 3 trade secrets. We're going to get through those. Obviously, the first one is our contextual targeting. The second one is going to be our epic ad formula, and then the third one is going to be how to create customers on demand, and that's going to be an interesting one. You'll see what we're talking about there. So you'll walk away with a proven template to use for your ads as well. We'll be giving that away at the end. So here's how this is going to go, guys. We got a couple hours of training. At that point, when we get done with the training, we will give you our offer, okay? And as a thank you for listening to our offer that we're going to give you, then we will release the template. We will give you directions on how to get that template, okay? And you've got to visually be watching the screen. And it's inevitable every time somebody's not doing what I say, that their ability to follow directions is not that good. And they end up going, hey, where's the template? I can't find the template. And I'm like, I just showed it on the screen exactly how to find it. So you weren't paying attention visually. I need you to stay glued to this screen to understand that we're going to move fast. There's a lot to go through. If you're going to try to listen to this auditorily while doing something else, you might as well click off now. You're wasting your time. Okay, you're not going to get anything out of it. Okay. And then after we give away the template, then we will answer questions. All right. So that's how we're going to do this. And hopefully you'll get a lot out of this. So this particular call, we just got someone who came into our group, Jim, saying, this is what he learned just on this live training. Okay. Wanted to post these results to inspire other code newbies. I just added up the results for our new ads. The one I wrote based solely on what I learned from Chris's free webinar. We're now getting a 5.24x return on ad spend from our ad, direct to a front-end live webinar. Okay, so spending $1, getting $5.24 back, just from the free training, not even the offer we're gonna give you that takes it very high to an advanced level and deep and actionable stuff, proven stuff right away. Just using this, he got that, okay? That's front-end sales. I'm stoked. So are my clients. That's me applying only a portion of what's inside the course. So if you are an agency, you're in the right place because this is going to help you fix a lot of your clients. If you are a business owner, you're in the right place because it's going to help you fix your messaging because you know your business better than anybody. But this is going to help you be able to distance yourself and look at it from a third party in a different way and understand angles and perceptions of it that are different than what you may think it is. And this is going to help you get how to nuance that messaging properly. Okay, it's going to make all the difference in the world. If you're a local business, same thing. Okay. If you are a coach, same thing. This is for you. If you're selling physical products, this Epic Ad formula works for just about anything. It's a brain decision, process. It's like it follows a process that the brain makes decisions with. Okay, the same process. And so hitting all those levers that help someone make a decision is how these ads are designed without trying to coerce or manipulate or be unethical or any of that crap. You don't need to do any of that and kill your reputation. So this helps if you are an affiliate marketer. You just have to follow our offer analyses quite well and make sure that you reverse engineer the offer you're doing really well. We have a process for that for you, okay? And the same thing will work if you're a business owner yourself. So if you're digital products, same thing, digital, physical, info, your coaches, you're selling services, local business, anybody can use these. And in fact, we have so many different types of people, even people selling their fiction books, okay? And lots of stuff in between, okay? And lots of people having success in our group, okay? So, but I want you guys to understand why I'm here, because I've been a marketer for about 10 years, learning everything online and been full-time for a long time. But I've seen a major sea change. I've seen things shift. Started 2009 and social media was just really starting. You couldn't even run Facebook ads like in the news feed until 2012. And we've been running them since then, getting them worked out and the kinks worked out. But the problem is most ad trainers try to use pre-social media style ads, and then they try to just peg that square peg into a round hole and try to overlay it onto social media, and it doesn't work the same. It's flawed by nature. I'm going to explain what that means, but I want you to understand why I'm here, okay? Because I was doing well a few years back in 2015. Had built a company that did 200 million in 5 years. Helped to build that company. I had a friend who was the owner, and I eventually the company was faltering. There was a lot of stuff happening on the inside, and so what we decided to do was I came into the company as an executive and was basically rooting out corruption and fixing things. What happened is it turns out there was so much corruption that I couldn't fix it. And my friend, who was the owner, wouldn't listen to me and was too trusting of the people who were very corrupt that were trying to rip him off, that embezzled millions from him and really screwed over the company. And so ultimately I realized that and I had to resign. Well, the problem was when I resigned, and this is why I'm telling you guys, this is how we got to our agency, is because I had products I could sell. I had a lot of stuff I could do, but because I signed my contract of being inside that company, I had a 12-month non-compete clause, which means I could not sell any of my products or services for 12 months. And the people that were going to hold me to that were the ones that were super corrupt and did not want to see me succeed after I had almost outed them inside. So this is a picture of Irina and I, my partner in business and in life, when we are faking our smiles on Christmas Day in a place called Divide, Colorado. We had just lost our house in Vail, Colorado, living where we could basically walk to the ski lifts, living a great life. And we were like basically at this point sleeping on couches, free falling through Colorado, sleeping on friends' couches. And I thought it was kind of funny that we were actually in a place called Divide, because we were facing a major divide in our life and which way to go, which direction to go. And we had gotten offers from other companies to come in and be a producer for them, to the tune of being comped over $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 worth of product. And, we would have been fine had we taken it. But we realized that the people we were around and those offers were just really rooted in a lot of stuff we didn't resonate with anymore. Our values were not of that. And we wanted to be able to help people who actually wanted to make a difference. We actually wanted to help real business owners rather than being around a lot of the make money online affiliate world, which can be great and great learning, but also there's a lot of treachery. There's a lot of unethical stuff, unethical practices. We're very thankful. We learned a lot of marketing from it, but we definitely knew that the ethics there, we couldn't tolerate anymore. So we opened up an agency. So this is a picture of us. We struggled for the next year really bad. Finally started an agency of ourselves, just running ads and writing copy and making funnels for business owners. And this is a picture of us at Facebook Austin, Texas, where they have the Facebook Ads Manager when we were getting our certification as an agency. We went to Facebook Ad headquarters in Austin, Texas, and it's a picture of us. And we learned a lot about compliance and what Facebook thinks about their ad platform and what they recommend, which is not exactly what I recommend, because I've found out a few things here that I'm gonna talk a little bit about that kind of might be shocking to you, okay? But what we were doing with our business, we used this formula that we had been testing and refining since 2012, and it was working really, really well. And it worked for any business that we use: digital products, physical products, local brick and mortar, businesses, agencies, coaches, other agencies. What actually happened is a lot of agencies started to come to us. And this is the same thing we do now, is a lot of agencies come to us to help them fix the ads that they're running for other clients that aren't working. And oftentimes we'll go have to take a look at the funnel, look at the ads, we'll help consult on that. Sometimes we rewrite the message, rewrite the ads. And we've got a handful of people we do that with now. So we've gotten really good at solving those problems and taking the hard stuff and fixing them. So let's keep rolling, all right? So this is just some of our clients. Some of you may have heard of them: digital marketer, big player in the space. If you don't know about them, it's okay, but they're known by a lot of business owners. We ran their ads for a transition time when Molly left. Molly Pittman, director of marketing, left. And they had a void there for about 7 months. In that time, we tripled their ad spend, cut their cost per acquisition in half twice, really got their ads going back to a place where it was really healthy, really awesome. And then we turned it back over to an internal agency, okay? So some of these clients we've either ran ads for or consulted on an hourly basis and helped them with their funnels, helped them rewrite stuff, helped them with their message one way or another. You're gonna learn about Chris, Smart Music Business. You're gonna learn about Kim on the Business Lounge. You'll see some of this other stuff, Six Figure Home Studio in there. You're gonna see some of these throughout Dominant Web Media. So you'll see some of these throughout the course of this training, okay? So understand this, all right? Why are we really here? The way we communicate has changed, all right? It's not the way people taught it for direct mail sales letters and flyers that you put on a post or on a bulletin board, okay? Before social media, people communicated directly through emails, mail, phone, stuff like that. Now, everything is social media, okay? And so on social media, these types of tactics are not gonna fly because people will call you out on it. That's why you have comments. Things are crowdsourced. Things are kind of policed by the crowd themselves, by the people that are there. And people get called out all the time, as you know. People argue in comments. And if you're trying to do anything unethical, in there, then it's just not gonna work. And so these gimmicks, these attention getters, or what a lot of people teach as pattern interrupts, trying to interrupt somebody's pattern so they stop scrolling. All that's really going to do is you'll lose credibility if you come off too gimmicky. If you do that, it shows that you're trying too hard and people get turned off by that. And whenever we've seen ads that have these pattern interrupts and attention getters in the beginning, the numbers are always lower, the scores are lower, and the results are lower than what we produce by not having ridiculous attention getters and gimmicks and compromising somebody's or a business owner's actual integrity, okay? So you want people to take you seriously. So when you come off as gimmicky, you're not taken seriously, all right? Now, the next part is we have group conversations rather than traditional one-on-one. We'll talk more about that. Then also for copywriters, like I've studied copywriting. I wouldn't consider myself a copywriter, but I would consider myself a social media copywriter. So I've had to translate because I tried to use all the traditional formulas and all the traditional copywriting training on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram. And guess what? It doesn't work the same. People don't respond to it the same because the fundamental way that we communicate is different. That's what I'm going to really show you today. So when you buy all these other courses that have all these scripts and hacks and copywriting training, understand that that stuff may work great for your landing pages, but I'm going to show you how you can use your Facebook ads using social media copy to pre-sell and pre-qualify better clients, better customers, get you better, higher ROI by utilizing the way Facebook was designed to be used, okay? This is available nowhere else, and if it is, they're ripping me off. That's it. No one else teaches this method. We developed this ourselves. We had to take all this old, outdated training and start to translate all of this, okay? So I'm gonna show you what this is, all right? So let me prove this first part, okay, about the power words for copywriters, because some of you copywriters on here are gonna be like, yeah, right, what are you talking about? Let me show you some of it right here, okay? Some of you know about the HubSpot and Outbrain study, where they did a study on the amount of clicks that the click rate, the link click rate, headline click rate of ads that had certain words in them. And they found a disturbing trend about the traditional power words that all copywriters are taught to use in their ads to be able to move people, okay, and to get attention and all of the gimmicky stuff, right? Like hype, superlatives. And so watch what this actually did. So they studied this, and so let's say you were like these articles show up at the bottom of a news or a blog, a news article, you know, somewhere on a site, and it's kind of the ones at the bottom that say you may also be interested in. That's what Outbrain is as an ad network. And so it shows all these other articles. They look like articles. A lot of they're actually all what's called advertorials. They're actually ads. Okay. So here's what they did. They started to study every word that was in those headlines to see which ones were getting the best click rates. And here's what they found. They discovered the tried and true power words are actually failing. So if you look over here on the right, they have kind of a wheel here that show the words that were used the most in most copywriting cases. You can see here, like anytime they had the word magic in the headline, it was minus 59% from the year before. So the amount of people clicking on it decreased by 59%. More than half of the people are now not doing that. This is a sea change that just happened in 2018, guys. So this is like, things went off a cliff. People had finally had enough. They've been inundated with hype and stuff for so long that they're starting to become immune to these words. They're immune to the traditional ways of copy, especially when they're on a social media platform where that's not really the language, okay? That's not how people communicate, because it's not a direct conversation, right? So the word tip, also minus 59%. The word credit, minus 58. Here's funny, minus 49% for the word cure. So that basically cut the click rate in half from what it was used to before. So literally the headline link click rate decreased by more than half in a year. Okay, that's how fast. The word simple, everyone tries to use the word simple, minus 49. How to, using the word how to, can you believe, decrease it by minus 49% because so many people always say, how to do this, how to do that. That's a whole other world. The word easy, minus 44%. Need, minus 44. The word free, minus 41. So all decreased the amount of times people click on these ads by this percentage. Trick, minus 26. Amazing, minus 24. Secret, minus 23. Okay, so I want you guys to understand this. This is important to understand. All of the words that copywriters use are not working so well anymore. So what does this mean? This levels the playing field for you. And here's the other thing about copywriters. If you haven't ever studied copywriting, then I want to give you the fundamental premise of what traditional copywriting teaches you. They start out with obviously the headline, and the headline is meant to give a big promise or what's known as a big claim. And essentially the psychology behind giving a big claim is for someone to say, I don't know if I believe that, but I want to know more. Like that sounds a little unbelievable. I can't resist. I've got to read this. But the problem is most amateur copywriters will give a claim that is so outrageous that it doesn't work. Okay. And then even professional copywriters that are really good at this, when they use it on social media and on Facebook particularly, this is actually against Facebook's policy. And there's a reason why. For one, they follow the rules set down by the Federal Trade Commission, or known as the FTC in the United States. And this is for their policy worldwide in every country for Facebook. They get it from the Federal Trade Commission in the United States, which is very similar in lots of other countries, but it's they don't want to allow what's called an unsubstantiated claim. And what that means is you cannot promise a result of a headline unless 100% of your customers who buy it will in fact experience that result. So that means if you try to give a claim or a promise like lose 10 pounds in 2 days, that means that 100% of people who buy whatever that product is have to be able to lose 10 pounds in 2 days, which is impossible. But here's what copywriters have been taught. But when you do a claim like that on Facebook or Instagram, it's actually against the rules because it's not 100% substantiated. So the fundamental premise starting right from the jump, right from the start, is that if you are trying to give a promise or a claim about your product that not everybody can have 100% of the time, then more than likely your ad's going to be disapproved. So literally the fundamental way that copywriters come into this is flawed because they can't give those claims. And so most of the copywriting training you get that teaches you how to give a big promise is going to get you in trouble. It's going to make it worse because it's going to be usually clickbait that's curiosity based, which Facebook absolutely hates. And when I say Facebook, I mean Facebook and Instagram because they're both owned by the same platform and you can run them inside the same ads manager. Okay. So when I say Facebook, I also mean Instagram. Okay. So you can't give unsubstantiated claims. So instead, you have to give headlines that are more real world based and conversational, which sound native to the platform, okay, which sound like a real conversation to people, okay? We got plenty of proof of this, but I want you to understand this. So if you hire a copywriter for your business and they go write your ads, they are usually going to tank your ads if they're using traditional style copywriting, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. I love copywriters. I've studied all the great copywriters. I've studied the ones from way back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, and I had to take those raw concepts and translate how they're expressed on social media and not try to take the modern day copywriters that made all of their money in the pre-social media internet. Because back in the day before social media, before Facebook really became a thing, and MySpace was kind of like the pioneer for that, the problem was the type of advertising being used was still very direct response style, one-to-one type of writing in emails, banner ads. They're using the word you, talking directly to people, trying to interrupt people, interruption marketing, which is a fallacy, okay? They were trying to do all of that with banner ads, email drops, you know, and then SEO, search engine optimization, and then having your website kind of be talking directly to people, which is totally okay for those platforms, but it's not okay for social media. So it's completely different. So what does this really mean in terms of all of this going on with headlines, right? So what does this really mean for you as a Facebook ad marketer? You do not have to hire a copywriter to have successful Facebook ads that convert. You do not have to give outrageous promises or claims that make you feel salesy. Never will you ever have to do that. And in fact, if you try to, it's going to harm your results, okay? But the problem is most gurus and trainers made their fortune in the traditional internet. They did not make it in the new social media world. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, well, what the heck, Chris? You know, like, then why is it that these gurus, these names that are literally like interests you can target on Facebook, okay, these trainer gurus, why is it, for one, they're an interest, you know, so they should be, you know, they should be teaching the right stuff because they're an interest on Facebook, right? I mean, it doesn't make sense. Why not? Well, the reality is they're an interest on Facebook because they had a huge following before Facebook even came around. And so right away, when Facebook came around and they came on Facebook and they ran all their like campaigns to reach all of their current existing sphere of influence and warm market, they got so many likes so fast that they were designated as an interest. Doesn't mean that they didn't have their success on Facebook. But the thing about it is that here's the worst fallacy of it all. Okay, so a lot of people be like, well, Chris, they're making all this money. They're probably making more than I am. Sometimes you'd be surprised what some of them are perceived as, what they actually do. But nevertheless, you're like, well, they're making all this money. They show all these results. So what they're doing must work. And I will say this. The reason it works is because they already have all this credibility and authority that people go, oh, The very thing that made you ask that question, oh, well, they're having all this success. What they're teaching me must work because they're saying that they're teaching me what they do. Well, that's what they're doing. And sure, to a degree, it will work. But the main reason it works is because of their credibility and their authority already. They didn't tell you about the millions they made before the internet, which all of you don't have the luxury of being able to use. Okay, it's funny. One well-known guru, everyone pretty much knows who he is, shows his ads saying, look at all these ads and how good they're doing to cold traffic. And you know what he's doing? He's targeting his own freaking name on some of them. Now, some of them are just a lot of the other related interests, but they pretty much know who he is. So 60 to 70% of his market that is supposed to be cold traffic is actually already warm traffic that are already warm and open to hearing what he has to say. Well, that's not the same. That's not playing the same game when they say, well, my cold traffic ads work well. Here's how you do them. And cold traffic being ads going to people that don't know you yet. Well, the playing field is not level, because if you do that with your people, you can do it with warm people. The rules are different with your warm audience. They already know you, and to a degree, they already like you, and they already have some trust and rapport and goodwill built with them. So you can do a crappy headline, but because they already trust you, they're probably still going to click on it and read it and engage with it, which artificially inflate your metrics if you try to say, oh, that's cold traffic. No, it's not. So what I'm saying is, for you as not a guru or not as a major trainer, okay, the issue is you don't have that credibility and authority already to use. So you need to do this in a way without having all that credibility and authority that still works. And I'm going to show you a more optimized way that allows your ad to sustain, that allows your ad to actually stay going. Because here's the problem. Most people place a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad, and it does well for the first day or two. And then after that, the cost goes way up. Cost per acquisition goes way up. Or oftentimes, some of them will just stop getting impressions. Okay. And that's not, people think that's an optimization problem. No, it's not. It's a message problem. It's because your message is causing the wrong things to happen, and you're getting the wrong scores on your ad. Okay. You don't just bid in the auction, in Facebook's auction, by the money you have. You bid by all the scores you get, and you get docked for negative feedback big time. The biggest culprit of why your ads actually don't sustain and the costs go up, or they burn out, or they don't get enough impressions, is because of the negative feedback that you get. Okay, so we'll talk about that, but first off, let's keep going. Okay, so 5 fallacies of Facebook ads. A lot of you saw this video, so we're just going to cover all of these throughout the course of it, but just wanting to quickly say these things you don't want. Aiming for the cheapest leads, not the case. We'll show it why. Measuring by cost per click, nope, not at all. It doesn't matter, because there's so many subjective things that will affect that cost. And if I have a more expensive cost per click for a much more qualified lead that's going to save me money, then great, that's what I want. The shorter the ad, the better. Actually short circuits Facebook's algorithm ability to optimize. Okay. And then optimizing for the next step. Sometimes, but not always, we're going to show you a little bit more of our integrated approach, and that's more of the optimization stuff, but it is important to understand that. Okay, so is this all making sense so far? Let me know in the chat if this is making sense, and if so far all of this is making sense. Okay, these things. Now, you may not know why with this yet, but let me know in the chat if these do. Okay. So, and the last thing here is, obviously the other myth is needing a pattern interrupt, which you don't. You actually want to take attention naturally through proper context, which has actually proven to get way better click rates and way more people per 100 clicking on your ad, and we'll prove that. Okay. So here's what you need to know. Facebook is not a one-on-one conversation. Sure, it is in Messenger, but we're talking about the news feed. Okay. You're talking, when you're on the newsfeed, you're talking indirectly to a group of people like you're at a party. That's what I want you to visualize, is instead of it being a one-on-one conversation, because it's not, because you have tons of people listening to you talk, I want you to visualize standing around a circle of like 7 or 8 people. And whatever you're talking about, you're saying it in a way that is not a direct conversation with one person, but it's with all of them. You're more teaching and educating and walking people through a process. It's like if you were a real estate agent, if you're having a one-on-one conversation, someone's like, hey, how's the market? And you're like, oh, it's like this. Oh, by the way, are you looking to sell your home? Yeah, da 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 da. That's a one-on-one conversation. But in a group conversation, it's rude to actually talk to only one person, and that person feels singled out because now there's the group's in front of them, right? So I want you to think about it like that, where if there's 7 or 8 people there, you're talking more about like, look, here's how the market is right now. If like you're a real estate agent, you'd be like, here's how the market is right now. Here's what's happening. Here's what we see. Here's the things that a lot of people don't know. You're coming from an educational standpoint where people want to listen to you because it's interesting and valuable. Okay. So based on that, we have a golden rule that if somebody in our agency actually does this, they're actually fired on the spot. We'll actually fire them on the spot. This is the policy if they don't actually do this properly. Okay, so here's our golden social rule of engagement. Okay, so the golden social rule of engagement is this: never start your ad with a direct self-identification question, which means don't call out your market. Now, I know this is completely backwards as to what some of the biggest gurus and trainers say. They say to call out your market. But I want you to look at it like this. If, let's say, that real estate agent comes up to you at that party and they say to you, hey, you looking to sell your home? Here's my card. What did you do? First off, that's weird, right? 2, you're that weird person at the party that nobody wants to be around because you're walking around pitching people where you're not being cool at all. In fact, you're being extremely uncool and annoying to people. And when someone comes up to you and approaches you cold like that, asking you a direct question, if that was you and they came up to you, even if you were looking to sell your home, if he comes up directly without even talking to you first, giving any type of value, displaying why he's good enough to be retained, his services, why he's valuable, and he's just like, hey, looking to sell your home, you're probably going to be closed off to him. You're probably going to kind of like close off and be like, no. Like even if you are looking to sell your home, you're going to be like, no, I'm not, thanks. Why? Because you didn't establish any value. You didn't establish any reason why he should listen to you. But this is the problem that most people make, is that you try to ask them who they are to self-identify without properly giving context as well as value and empathizing and connecting with people, okay? So I'm here to unlearn all this BS you've been taught, which gets a very small rate of return. It still gets some results, sure, but I'm here to show you the actual dirty, disturbing trend that causes these ads to not work as well, okay? So obviously you see some of these here, like, if you're looking for music artists, saying, are you a music artist? Someone's gonna be like, what do you have to show? Why would I even listen to you? What happens is, when you do this, your ad, due to the way that Facebook is, your ad is not gonna go to a music artist 100% of the time, just due to the way you can target on social media, okay? So your ad can't actually do that. It's gonna go to, depending on the audience, let's say it's gonna go to, 60% of them are music artists and 40% are not music artists. They just have similar interests as music artists. So that means there's 40% of the market that it's not for. But if your ad says, are you a music artist? And it comes across their news feed, they're gonna be like, okay, this isn't relevant to me. So they're gonna mark it as irrelevant, a high number of them, which that's negative feedback. Okay, so check this out. So same thing with like, trying to talk to influencers or, like real estate agent example. So here's the thing. One thing here I want you to understand. We don't ever want to ask our prospects to decide if they want to pay attention. Like, hey, are you a music artist? I'm giving them the power to make the decision to say yes or no. I don't ever want to do that. There's no need for that. I don't want to give my power away to them. I'm controlling the conversation and the narrative, and they want to choose to be a part of it if they see that it's relevant to them. This works way better, promise you, okay? So instead, through the right context, which I'm going to show you here soon, right? We just naturally take their attention, okay? We're not trying to talk directly to them, because here's what actually happens. Like for me, I haven't been a real estate agent since 2009. So when I left and I went into online marketing. But for some reason, I get this every once in a while in my newsfeed because of some of the similar interests that I have, right? And some of the friends that I have. So Facebook's like, oh, you might still be, you know, in real estate one way or another. So guess what happens? So I get an email, or sorry, not an email, but I get this ad in my newsfeed, and there's nothing wrong with this. Like I should actually black out, you know, their name. Like they're great, okay, I don't have any problems with them, but the way the ad is being done, probably by the agency themselves, is that, look at that. First off, they're capitalizing all of they're capitalizing their headline, trying to call directly out agents, team leads, and brokers. I am none of those, okay? And so because of that, with their funny little funky emoji that doesn't matter at all, okay? If you think your emoji makes a difference, you got bigger problems, okay? So to me, this is just not relevant. And this is, every ad goes to people who it's not relevant to. So when you try to call out your market, there's going to be a percentage of them that are like, no, that's not me. So what I would do is I'd click this little 3-dot bar in the top here. See that? I'd click that, and I'd click this, pull up this screen, and I would either click hide the ad, mark as irrelevant or repetitive, or report the ad saying there's a problem with it, like, hey, this is not me. I'm not a real estate agent. Why are you showing me this ad? Well, what happens is that's recorded as negative feedback, okay? And that is the #1 biggest culprit. So the reason I'm saying not to call out directly your prospect is because your ad is going to go to a lot of people that are not your prospect at all, which negatively affects your ads more than positively. So here's the thing. Most ads get like 1 or 2 out of 100 people to click on their ad. Okay, that's great. And some people will argue, well, if I have to call out directly those people so that I get them, you know, 1 or 2 out of 100, and it costs, you know, my costs are okay, then I'm fine with that. Well, I would agree with you, except that here now is a concept that traditional direct response marketing cannot solve, which is you are now on an ad platform that is artificial intelligence, you know, machine learning, algorithms and logarithms. And what it does is it scores the performance of your ad, not by how well it converts, but by the experience that people have of your ad. Facebook values the user experience of your ads more than anything else. By far and large, more than anything else, they want to make sure that the user experience is top notch. They value the experience users have. If Facebook users are having a negative experience on your ad, this is why your ad stops getting impressions, or the scores go low enough to where it goes to more second-rate traffic, people less likely to convert, and the costs go way up. That's why your cost goes way up, or that's why your ad stops getting impressions, because it's not being able to be competitive in the auction, because your quality scores, your engagement scores, and all those scores, your relevance scores, all of those are going down. People used to talk about a relevance score was a vanity metric. No, it's not. It never has been. That's people who say that's a vanity metric are for the ignorant. Okay, so Chloe, I actually do that most of the time. Exactly. So, and the thing is, like, what are the actual stats? So I got, you know, what are the stats that people actually hide or report the ads versus not bothering? We don't know those exact stats, but what we do know is it only takes a small amount of people to give negative feedback before, like, I would say like 3-4% of people, if you have 3 to 4% people giving negative feedback, I see ads tank. Okay, so let's say at that same scenario as real estate for me, right? So 40% of the people being shown that ad are not real estate agents. So even if 1 in 10 hide the ad or report the ad, this ad is going to tank. This ad is going to get bad scores. It's not going to work. So here's my whole point to all of this. Facebook values the user experience. So you have to give a good experience, and don't be so direct where you're invasive to people. When you're invasive to people, that's different. Let me show you a quick example here of the difference, and we'll come back to this later, but here's something that's cool, right? So for real estate agents, like they're looking for in the real estate niche, right? So maybe I'm not a real estate agent, right? But maybe I'm looking to buy my home. Well, check this out. Instead of saying, hey, you're looking to sell your home in an ad, I come from a place of education saying, here's how homeowners avoid owning 2 homes at once or even being homeless, which often happens when they're trying to buy and sell a house at the same time, when their transaction goes off the rails in a buyer's market. Our guaranteed sale program fixes this. Now, guess what? Even someone who's not looking to buy or sell their home right now, who may be thinking about it in the future at some point, or even just recently bought something and is wondering how it could have gone differently, they'll read this even when they're not looking to to buy another home or sell their home because it's educational. But guess what? That's cool because then they may go tag people, friends they know who are looking to buy a home. They'll tag them, be like, hey, so now you got good positive feedback because now you have people sharing and tagging it, right? Tagging their friends and sharing it and commenting and liking and reacting. But then also the people who are not looking to, this is less invasive. So they're not marking this as spam or irrelevant because it's actually valuable. So oftentimes an ad like this, people will just scroll right past, okay? Now, the only difference here is just the picture. The text up top here is exactly the same. We'll get into some of these headline formulas later, but I want you to understand this point that doing something like this is too direct and invasive, okay? Now, let me know in the chat, guys. Let me know. Go ahead and speak up and let me know if this concept of being direct and invasive and why your ad gets low scores makes sense. Just say yes, okay? And if you say no, then that means I know that you're just not fully there yet and you may have missed something, okay? Chloe, I just really think, why am I being targeted for this BS? And I report the ad. See, Chloe, that's exactly right. That's exactly, and Sarah says, I do it too, you know? And funny enough, so we have like multiple people here in the chat saying, I do it too, right? How crazy is that? And for those of you, we have multiple chats going on. So some of you are not gonna see this, some of these some of you are not gonna see some of these responses from people, but go ahead. We've got a multicast happening here. So there's multiple chats. So if you're in here where you see Matt or Josh in there, go ahead and post in my name in there and others. So yeah, so Michelle, yes. Michael, yes. It does, but it would be useful to know if people report you. So there is a way to do that, okay? You can look at the number of the negative feedback, and it's by going to, in your business manager, you can go to the page posts section, which will allow you to look at the full scores, okay? So actually, you know what? Let me just do that here, okay? Let me just do that for you. So let me pull up one of my ad accounts. Let me show you mine. Okay. And I'll show you exactly where to do this. So in your business manager, you go to page posts right here where it says create and manage. In that column, go to page posts here, okay? And what's gonna happen is you see the post coming up. And this is important for you guys to see. This is super important to know if you're getting negative feedback. And like I said, like 3 to 4% is like way too much. Even 1 to 2% can affect your ads quite a bit, okay? It takes a moment when we're using the live training platform here to do this with. So let's go like to the ad that a lot of you see, the reason why you're here, right? The one with my video. Okay, so and I'll show you exactly how to find this. Okay, so this is the ad that I use most of the time. Been using it for 7-8 months to bring people to this workshop. Okay, so then what you want to look at is the post. Okay, and look at all these metrics. But then look at the feedback down here. It says negative feedback down here at the bottom. See that? Right here, negative feedback. Now for me, let me go back there. So this ad has been shown to 500,000 people. And so out of 500,000 people, I have only 11 reported spam, 5 hide posts, and 1 hide all posts. Out of 2,197 reactions and comments and shares. So if I add up the spam, the hide post, and the hide all posts, that's 17. That's 17. Okay, so 17 negative feedback. as opposed to the reactions, comments, and shares. So if you take 2,197 divided by 17, that is 0.1, basically, 0.1. So, or like 1%. And, or no, that's like 0.1, yeah, because it's 17 out of 2,000. So that I'm good. This is why my ad, I can turn it on right away, no matter what, and it still works because I'm getting no negative feedback. You can see all the reactions and shares. Like I have like tons of shares, like 578 comments, 193 shares. So that's a lot of shares. 215 comments, 365 shares altogether. I have more shares than I have comments. And I have over 1.1 thousand reactions there, and then 2,197 reactions, comments, and shares all here together. Okay, so these are all positive. The reactions, comments, and shares, these are all positive metrics. Your negative feedback is down here. Okay, so that's how you find that. Is that helpful for everyone? Is that really helpful seeing that? You're very welcome, Sarah. Oh, very low. Yeah. Can you check for the negative feedback after the ad ends? Yes, you can. Because all you have to do is go to the page post section of your ads to see this. Okay. So that's what I want you to keep in mind about when it comes to negative feedback. That's where it happens, and you can find that in your business manager under the page posts section. Okay. Remember, just come here. When you click this little hamburger and go to all tools, right up here, create, manage, and then page posts. That's where it's at. Just click on page posts. It shows you all your posts. Okay, that's where it's at. So next part here, we got to move on. All right. So here we go. Let's get into the 3 trade secrets because we already got an hour, and now you guys are really understanding kind of like my whole thesis and my whole case for why ads traditionally are not working. So the first half of this, the first hour, is like unlearning all the BS you've been taught. Okay, so it's understanding why that doesn't work as well and how you've been led astray. Okay, and now I'm going to start showing you a little bit of how that doesn't work specifically in ads and how to teach you how to do this properly. Okay, so now some of you are like, no, Chris, but you said, you know, don't use the word secret. That was in the headline formulas. You see trade secret here, right? Well, that's very true. But here's the thing. One, I'm not in a Facebook ad, right? And I'm not in an ad right now. You guys have already gotten past that, where I didn't use the word secret anywhere. And you're here and we're having a one-on-one. We're having a class discussion where I can talk directly to all of you because you're here with me interacting, right? You've already given me permission to talk to you, okay? Totally different. So you're very welcome, Lisa. And Chloe, absolutely. Bethany, thank you. So now, because I also used it with context, right? So context is everything. We're trade secrets. So it's not just secrets, it's trade secrets. This gives it a different connotation. So it's not a black and white thing where you never use those words ever. It's how they are being used. I can tell you traditional copy and the way that those words are used don't help themselves very much. But when you use different words, the word trade secret is more like, you know, businesses and manufacturers have trade secrets they're legally allowed to keep, you know, on patents and proprietary blends. Like trade secrets is actually a real viable word. Secret by itself is not really defined. So that's one of the things about context, is that you need to define these words clearly enough so that they make sense to the person you want to reach, okay? So trade secret number 1, using contextual targeting with text to train Facebook's machine learning algorithm and finding qualified prospects with less wasted ad spend. That's what we're just going to go over here in just a moment. Number 2 is the Epic Ad Formula, okay? You guys are going to love that. And number 3 is how you can work with Facebook's algorithm to create qualified prospects out of thin air. So let's roll with this. Here's what you need to understand. Facebook's algorithm has over 400,000 different data attributions for every Facebook profile that exists. And that's at last count from a year and a half ago. They have more now, okay? Significantly more. But this is the last time I was able to get anything from them. They don't publish this information. It's me having conversations with techs and support people and engineers at Facebook, okay? Which usually you can't get access to. And I found a workaround a couple times where I was able to talk to someone who helps, with making adjustments to the algorithm. He told me a lot more than he was supposed to. He was like, I don't think I was actually supposed to tell you those things. Can you not repeat them? And I'm like, of course not. That's journalism, right? But so what this means is they know everything about you, because when you're signed into Facebook, they're tracking everything about you, every website you visit. They know everything you say on social media. They know who you interact with. They know what your likes are, what your interests are. They know what your behaviors are. They usually have you attached to a Google account and other accounts, and they're sharing data. Like, all that stuff is kind of freakishly scary when you realize they know more about you than your family does, okay? Than your closest people, than your wife, your partner, your spouse. Like, that's how crazy this is, okay? They know more about you than your favorite deity, put it that way. Pick them, doesn't matter. I'm joking, right? So, but when you call out your prospect, you're only using one of those 400,000 data points. So my question to you is, why not use your text to qualify more data points for a more specific prospect? So that means if you can use more data points to be able to find a more qualified person right away, why wouldn't you want to do that rather than trying to invasively directly call out someone who may not even be your target market and risk your ads tanking because of it? Let me show you an example. Facebook understands context, right? So look at it this way. Let's do this one first, right? And then I'll do that one here. Let me actually switch that around. So this is how most advertisers screw this up. Look at this ad. Chris is one of our clients, right? Which he came to us and we literally made him a success story that Facebook featured on Facebook.com as a success story based on the ads we wrote for him. Okay, so check this out. He came to us with this ad. This is an ad we did not write, and this is what he came to us that he did before we took over. So in the headline, all he's trying to do is call out their audience, artists and musicians, right? Well, that's only going to actually call out and it's very vague because it's talking about artists and musicians, but artists and musicians is actually 2 data points, because a musician doesn't necessarily mean they're an artist. Like, an artist doesn't necessarily mean that it's a musician. So the algorithm is scanning this saying artists, musicians. Okay, we'll go find people who are musicians, but we'll also find people who are artists. But what kind of artists are there? An artist can be anything. An artist that paints, an artist that sculpts, an artist that draws, an artist that that could do music artists. But they could also be an artist of so many different things, of dance. There's so many different ways that people call themselves an artist, right? I consider myself an artist of social media copywriting, right? I'm an artiste. And so what you've got here is the algorithm can't optimize, because right away it's saying artists and musicians. And here's what I want you to understand, right? So this is an important thing to actually get. One of the most well-known, many of the well-known copywriters teach this too as well, but understand this. Of the 80% of people who read your headline, okay? Now, what I mean by that is not the below creative headline, because here's the crazy part. Facebook actually calls this down here the headline. They actually call this the headline, which is completely ridiculous, because the headline is supposed to be from the heading line. That's where the word headline comes from. So it's the first thing up top. Okay, so when you hear me refer to the headline, I'm talking about this up here. Okay, this is the headline. Okay, the subheadline is this paragraph. Okay, so of the 80% of people who read your headline, if it's the best possible one that you can get, and this is coming from some of the greatest copywriters in the world, only 20% will read your subheadline. Okay, so what does that ultimately mean? That means that most people are going to read just this and make the decision whether or not to read the rest. And so if it's only this, you don't have a lot to go off of, and it's not very specific. And so here's what happens from that. Because you didn't set any context, You didn't put in any pain point. You didn't talk about the challenges. You didn't talk specifically about the benefit. You didn't talk about the authority that he has in order for them to be like, why am I listening to this person? If you don't have any of those things in your headline before you paragraph break, then the problem is that people are only going to read that and continue scrolling, okay? Because here's what actually happens. Here's what actually happens. This is the way people actually scroll on social media. Number one, they scan the top text. So they'll scan this, and if it's they're usually conscious of at least this first line. And if it's relevant to them, they may slow down to scan and read the rest. And sometimes they're still scanning it subconsciously, but not really consciously being aware of what's there. Okay. This is why most people say the first thing I see on an ad is the creative or the image or the video, right? Which the creative is the image or the video. But the problem is that's not what they're really seeing first. It's just the first thing they remember, because usually there's such a piss poor job of these headlines being done that it's not as relevant to people, okay? So that's your first mistake, is that now you're not getting a lot of people to click on your ad because you're not setting proper context. Because what they first do is they scan the top text, then they glance at the image, and if the image fits with kind of like what they just scanned, they may choose to continue, but then they're gonna glance at the below creative headline below, right? They're gonna glance at number 3 down here, accelerate your fan page using this, right? They read that, and if it's congruent, if it sounds the same as what's here up top, then more people will click on it because it feels like it's saying the same thing. This is your chance down here to build trust by restating what you had up here in a more condensed format, okay? If it's completely different, which it is, then anything here, nothing about accelerate fan page, right? Like nothing about accelerate in any of this or fan page, right? It's get your music in front of 1,000 music lovers, but only 20% could be reading that, which is actually a lot less, okay? Here's what actually happens. So people go through this, and then when they finally read these first 3 points, go through these first 3 points, is when they then decide to either click play or click the link, or click see more if there's more text to read. In this particular case, his ad is short, so he's short-circuiting his ads, okay? Look at it this way. Short ad equals short-circuiting optimization, okay? So here's what actually happens. Here's what actually happens. So here's the ad metrics from this ad. We went in there and took a look at it, right? And I have his permission to show this. Same ad, right? Artists and musicians. Here's the 2 links I want to point out to you. CTR all, right? This is the CTR all, which is the click rate all, which is how many clicks total are happening on your ad. It can be a click play, a click see more to read the rest of the ad. It could be clicking on the learn more button. It could be clicking on the link in the text, okay? That CTR all means all the clicks on the ad, on the post. And then there's the second one, which is only counting the links, CTR link click-through rate, okay? So that means it's only them clicking that learn more button or sign up or whatever it says at the bottom, or a link inside of your text, okay? Which in this particular case would have been that bit.ly link that he's shown. So here's the numbers he has. CTR all shows 1.99, 2.28, 1.89, 2.5, 2. Okay, so it's just around 2%. On average, it's about 2.15 or so percent in terms of that's how many people are interacting with the ad out of 100. So that basically means 2 out of 100 are interacting with this ad. All right, 2 out of 100. That's crazy. Okay, so that sucks. Like that's what happens when you try to call directly out people. You're sure you're going to get 1 out of 100, 2 out of 100 to pay attention. Okay, but the other 98% is what you need to be worried about, because if a portion of them are giving negative feedback, your ad is killed. You see, in other traditional direct response advertising, the other feedback stuff doesn't matter. So you could directly call out your market, and you'll get that 1 or 2 or 3% to click on your ad, and that's fine. But doing it here, doesn't work with the algorithm that way, and it actually causes low scores and your ads burn out and they don't sustain. When you listen to me, hear me here, guys. When you can make this ad work properly, that doesn't get negative feedback, your ad sustains. The costs don't rise really high. It continues to get impressions. We have ads that have ran 6, 7, 8 months into the course of years now with different clients. When you check back and they're still running them, okay? Because they can't duplicate what we did when writing the ad really, really well, okay? So now here's the other part, the link click-through rate. So the link click-through rate is basically average. When you look at all these, it's about roughly about 1%, a little under, like 0.9%, which, just so you know, when your link click-through rate is under 1%, your ad's not gonna last for very long, usually. Okay, it's not the only factor, but usually it's an indicator that your ad is less than optimal. You're getting less than 1 out of 100 clicking on your ad, okay? So that's bad, that's not good at all, right? So what we look here at is the ratio, okay? So this is how to know if your ad is actually even being consumed. The ratio of CTR all to CTR link, right? The CTR all here is 2. So that's CTR all is 2. And then the link, let's just call it 1%. That's 1. So the ratio, so we call it CTR link. I'm doing this with a mouse, guys, so bear with me, right? CTR link is there, right? So that's the click, we call that the click ratio, okay? So your click ratio, in this particular case, he's got 2 to 1. Now I'm gonna tell you, he should have a 3 to 1 click ratio because it's a video. I'll explain more about that in a minute, but I want you to understand the click ratio is okay, it's 2 to 1. For an image ad, that's good. For a video ad, that's not, okay? But I'll talk more about this stuff later, but just understand, you need to understand click ratios. We'll get there in a minute, okay? But what I want you to know about, here's the thing to understand, and you saw some of this in the video. Out of the 400,000 data attributions, I want you to look at this big chocolate chip cookie. Same thing I did in the news feed, in the ad, that in the videos you watched to be here, right? There's 2 separate data points, artists and musicians. There's the artists, there's the musicians. Cool, but the problem is they're not related. So the algorithm is continually trying to jostle back and forth between showing the ad to musicians and showing the ads to artists. Now, eventually, because they see that musicians are clicking more, okay, that's going to help them go, okay, we need to start going more towards musicians because these are the people that are clicking on this ad more and converting more. Because a smaller number of artists are clicking this, because obviously a lot of those artists are not music artists, right? And the ad and the offer is specifically for music artists. So here's what happens, okay? So what happens is it wasted all of this money sending it to the artists, the not qualified, unqualified leads. And you had to waste a lot of money in ad spend before it started to optimize to the right people. Because his click rates at first were even lower than what they are now when you see this, okay? So that's the concept, is you just wasted a lot of money. What does this really mean? It means that this is what your funnel looks like. Your ad is being shown to a lot of people that are unqualified, and all of this wasted ad spend, okay? They were never going to convert in the first place. So instead, there's only a small portion of them that actually convert. But all you did was waste money on this. Now, most people try to be everything to everybody. They're trying to be as broad as possible to cast a wide net so that they can have as many customers as possible. Now, those as business owners who are savvy business owners understand that that's a recipe for disaster and failure, because you need to be specific about the person coming in. Because if when you try to be everything to everybody, you end up being nothing to nobody, okay? So you want to be specific with this. So let me show you, let's just review here real quick. Click ratios, right? So understand this, and to go further, I need you to understand this. You need to pay attention to click ratios instead of cost per click. Remember the 5 fallacies of Facebook ads, that cost per click? The cost per click doesn't matter, okay? Because it's about how it converts and the money it makes you. Cost per click is an old, traditional, direct response marketing way of looking at things. You don't have to worry about it because your cost per click may be a little higher, but they're better qualified leads that make you more money. So instead, you want click ratios. And your click ratio, like we said before, is the ratio between your CTR all and your CTR link. So if your CTR all is 5.0 and your CTR link is 2.5, then your click ratio is 2 to 1, just like Chris's was 2 and 1 before, right? Or it could be 10 to 5, that's a 2 to 1. If it's 9 to 3, right? If the CTR all is 9 and the CTR link is 3, then that's 3 to 1. Make sense? It would be, the ratio would be 3 to 1 if it was 9 to 3. CTR all 9, CTR link 3, because it's 1/3, 3 to 1. If the CTR all was 10 and the CTR link was 1, then that would be a 10 to 1 ratio, which is really bad because it means 10 people are clicking to read or watch or engage and consume your ad, and only one of them is clicking the link. Really, really bad. Okay, so let me explain this. Okay, let me show you the ad, a lot of the ad that you saw, or at least one of them, right, with the same video. This is a 20-minute video, by the way. Okay, but I want you to look first. I'm gonna blow this up. I'm gonna go back to the headline formula in a minute. Okay, but I want you to look at these click ratios. Okay, CTR all 18, CTR all 19.61, 14.49, 14.29, 14.29, 12.86, 12.84, 12.96. So understand that now instead of the 2 out of 100 that Chris is getting on his ads, on that particular ad, I'm getting 18 out of 100. Okay, 18. Now remember that 20% of people, only 20% will read, 80% will read the headline, but only 20% will read the subheadline. So what's going on here is 80% of people are reading it, and then 20% are clicking there because I set the right context. So I'm still getting 18, almost 20 in this particular case, almost 20 out of 100 that the ad is being shown to seeing the ad. Okay. Now that's a major difference than 2 to 1, because Chris over here, he had, remember, CTR alls were 2 to 1, 2 out of 100. Down here on mine, setting proper context, using a good headline formula, reaching people, being specific, you've got even my, CTR alls, they're 18, 19, 14, like even averaging around 12, whatever, right? That's like, even if it's 12, that is 6x better than Chris's. Okay, and look at this. This is 4, like this is 4 full lines on a mobile, and 3 lines with 1 word on a desktop. Okay, so it's long, right? But we have to stack it in. Everyone teaches you how to use these short one-liner headlines to keep it short and sweet. And I know that kind of in your mind, you're like, yeah, then they read it real fast and they go to the next line. No, you're not, because now you're not pre-qualifying people. You need to pre-qualify them before you paragraph break. Okay, so what we want to do is focus on getting the right elements. But look at this real quick first. My CTR link, okay, 6.12, 5.88. That one was a little low. 3.97, 3.33. So here's what's happening here, okay? So let's take this top one, right? 18.37 to 6.12. That is literally a 3 to 1 ratio. Exactly to 1 with a variance of 1/100%. Okay. Now, why is that? Because here's what's happening. They're reading this. They're coming down here, being like, okay, that's the same as this up here. So then they're gonna either click more to read if they decide they want to read before watching the video, which some people will do, right? Because they kind of want to know more context about what they're about to watch. And some people will choose to click play right away and watch the video. So basically, scenario 1 is they read all this and they click play. So their first click is clicking play. And their second click after watching the video is clicking more to read the rest of the copy. Because as you know, it's long copy. Those of you who read the ad see that, right? So The second click, now we got 2 clicks because they've clicked play and they've clicked more, okay? And then the third click is going to be clicking on the link or the learn more button down here, or the link inside the ad when it actually opens up and you read it. So there's 3 overall clicks, including the link click, including the click play, including the see more. Okay, there's 3, but then there's only 1 link click. That's a 3-to-1 ratio. So for a video ad, you want to have a 3-to-1 ratio. That's what I was getting here, 3-to-1 ratio. Okay, I'm not on every single one because I was testing different audiences, right? But understand that I'm like 1 out of 5 in this particular case that's actually choosing to interact with the ad. Way better than 2 out of 100. Okay, so that's something you want to keep in mind. That's something you want to understand. So let's look at it like this. The other ways, obviously, if they click play, either they click more first or they click play first, and then they click the other one. So there's still going to be 3 clicks altogether with 1 link click. Now, the only caveat to this is when I added captions to this, video, what happens is people on mobile will sit and read, about half of them will sit and read the captions without clicking. And we know this because we had a 3-to-1 ratio before we added captions. And then we had a 2.5-to-1 ratio when we added captions, because 1 out of 2 won't click play. They'll just watch the caption. They'll just read all the captions silently on their phone or on a desktop, and then choose to click the more in order to go to read the rest. So that actually causes a 2.5-to-1 click ratio. It goes in the middle between 2 and 3. So hopefully that makes sense. So here's what happens. Here's the reason why this is happening. So at first, now Facebook's algorithm is now seeing all these different data points and going here. Now I'll show you the headline formula. I'll go back in a second. But now it sees all these things and it's got a lot more to work with. Why is that? Because let me show you the headline formula. What I did, and this is the core of our code methodology, right? This is the core, is getting the elements right. So this is one of our headline formulas. You may want to write this down. This is a good one, okay? Setting proper context. So you don't have to call them out. You don't have to talk directly to them. You don't have to be invasive. You don't have to be uncool. You don't have to be none of those things. But look at it this way. Common bond, right? That's a way that you would relate with your audience, what you have in common with them, right? So for us, we said as a common bond, and I basically said, as a Facebook ad agency, okay, as a Facebook ad agency, that's my common bond. Because what that does is, for those who are wanting to learn how to do Facebook ads, a Facebook ad agency, you will assume, runs ads and knows what they're talking about. And I'm actually surprised that a lot of them don't know what they're talking about. But you would assume that as an ad agency, specifically a Facebook ad agency, that we may know a thing or two. Because you assume, hey, we run traffic, we run ads, we probably see things that other people don't, right? So that was our common bond, okay? And then we insert our emotion, which is we have witnessed sudden, okay? So we have a few things in there that are context words that people are like, we've witnessed sudden, okay? That's important. The pain, right? That's sudden algorithm shifts. Algorithm shifts are the pain, because people say, hey, you know, my ad was running good for a while and then it just stopped. What was it? And people blame it on the algorithm, right? Like it changed. Facebook ads don't work. Say, and then here's what we've done too, and then we insert the benefit. We fill in the blanks. Here's what we've done to get even better ROI for our clients. So here's what we've done too, and the actual benefit is get even better ROI for our clients. Well, for someone reading it who's wanting to get better ROI, that's get right there. Now for us, it's for our clients, which means we're doing it for many clients, right? But we're getting even better ROI. This is the benefit that someone wants for their ads. So what we did is we included how they relate. We included some feeling and emotion that helped them, that grip them to read the rest. We've got the pain in there, the benefit, and the challenge. And oftentimes the pain can be enough where you don't even have to actually specifically talk about the emotion, okay? But look at it this way. The pain is it can be the problem, which can evoke an emotion, okay? So this is kind of like copywriting 101 in a way, but social media copywriting, okay? So when you set proper context, Now this can make sense that now I'm talking about the pain, the benefit, the challenge. I'm talking about specific things to people who are running Facebook ads and some of the primary problems they have, which is why I get these high CTRLs, because now this is relevant to more people. So here I am being way more specific, which does not limit my audience. In fact, it actually helps because now I'm being more specific. And you see these CTRLs, which are 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 times higher than the example I showed you with Chris, which is the average click rates on Facebook. You realize these other ads, like from Chris, these are the averages for Facebook, because most ads don't continue to run. Most ads burn out. Most people who do Facebook ads don't know how to do them optimally in the way that sustains and works with the algorithm to find the right qualified people. Let me know in the chat if this is making sense so far, okay? All right, so far looking good, okay? Okay, so I'm looking at, all right, cool. So, Mike, I had the same question. If the targeting was just musician-based, would the ad still show to artists? What takes priority, the targeting set in the ads manager or the targeting mentioned in the ad? Yeah, and that's something that, like, that's a good question, Michael. Not to go too deep down a rabbit hole, but it's obviously, here's how you look at it. The targeting inside the ad takes precedence over the targeting in the ad set in terms of who specifically the ad shows to. But if you have only a small audience, that ad is only going to be shown to people within that small audience. But if you have a very specific ad, then that means there's less people in that audience that are going to resonate with your ad. So what you need to do is have a larger audience, a much larger audience, to allow the targeting with text approach to actually reach the right people. You can't choke the algorithm and not allow it to go out to a lot of people, because it knows enough. Like there's a certain time where you can run no interest, no targeting at all. And when you have had enough conversions, your pixel knows who to show the ad to. Okay, I'll show you guys some of that later. But understand that now that I have all of these different context points that Facebook's algorithm can now scan and understand, what it does is it starts to quickly show it to people that have a cluster of these, and the people who are clicking, it starts to develop a profile. So then the algorithm is like, oh, the people that are clicking on this ad have these common data points. They all have these same common data points in here. They all have mostly these, and then, you know, the majority of them have these ones on the inside. So now we have a certain profile. So now what they'll do is they'll go out to the rest of the target audience that you have and look for these data points to show the ad to, rather than these unqualified people with random data points that don't have any correlation, resulting in wasted ad spend. But instead, if you have a specific headline, then what this is going to do is help you go more efficiently and faster and optimize faster to the right person, okay? And what actually happens from that is when you have a super qualified person and they go through your long ad and you pre-qualify them and you give them the right expectations and they're the right prospect, guess what happens? So for this particular webinar, for this particular live training, my registration page is invited you to this page. You want to know how many people the opt-in rate is? First off, most opt-in rates, most gurus are going to tell you that a 20 to 30% opt-in rate is the best that you can possibly do. The best you can possibly do. Not the case. If you pre-qualify these people and Facebook can go find the right people, then what happens is it takes out all the people that are not opting in, and it takes away the people that are not converting. Okay, so it looks at those data points and goes, okay, these are not the people we want to show it to. So over time, as your ad runs, it optimizes and gets better and better. The costs get even better. Okay, ROI gets better. But what also happens is I'll show you a few screenshots of my ClickFunnels account. Okay, this is for the page, for the registration page for this workshop. Do you see this? Most gurus tell you what? They tell you 20 to 30% is a good opt-in rate. This is mine. I made some adjustments, and the next 362 that came in, 326 opted in, a 90% opt-in rate. Okay. Okay. You understand the difference? So what happens is when you have these high opt-in rates, before you may be paying, you know, $5 a lead for a 30% opt-in rate. Well, now if you've got that same cost of that lead, that same cost per click, let's just say everything, all things being equal, now all of a sudden, instead of having 1 out of 3, you're having, you know, 9 out of 10. So now you basically cut your costs. Like if it was $3 leads, not 5, but $3, now all of a sudden you're at $1 lead because 2 more out of 3 are opting in, right? Like not exact math, but now you've got like 3 times the people at a rate of 3 times higher than the opt-in rate before. So now your cost could actually be lower and your conversions be even better and your ROI be even better. Okay. So that's what actually happens when you set proper context. Okay. So Miley, if he had targeted his ad to musicians, would Facebook have still tried to optimize to show the ad to artists just because the word is in his ad? Good question. It's a great question. Now, if it was only 2 musicians, then that's great. But here's the problem. That's one small interest and that's not scalable. So yes, it would have shown just to musicians because that's all you're giving it in the interest. So it would have gone to musicians. It would have been better. But here's the thing. That is only one small interest you can't scale. So in order to go outside of that one interest, which will burn out very fast, you have to go to all of the other interests to get those people who are musicians, but they don't specifically state in their profile that they're a musician, which there's a lot of them out there. That's the majority of them. See what I mean? So very good question. Melee, I believe is how you, Melee, Hatch. So yeah, sure. If you're more specific, but here's the thing, like if you laser target down just to musicians, it's a small audience, it burns out fast, and that's it. And you can't continue to run your ad. You need to have larger audiences to work with so your ad can sustain. Okay, so I'm not saying don't use targeting, but I'm saying you need to have a larger audience. So you probably need to stack a lot of interests together or larger groups of lookalike audiences. Okay, so let's move on. All right, let me give you one quick other headline formula. Okay, so here's one of our past clients, Anton. He was selling a course on how to connect with and network with influencers. Okay, so totally like problem aware, unaware. Could a common bond, could an introverted college dropout, because a lot of people can relate with that, okay? Triumph in life, okay, ultimate benefit, triumph in life, after pain, right? So in life, after being misled, okay, after being misled is the pain, right? By the challenge is as guidance counselor, right? Guidance counselor was what was standing in the way of this for time frame, right? For years, okay? Could an introverted college dropout triumph in life after being misled by his guidance counselor for years? Now, a lot of you are like, but Chris, you're asking a question. Contraire. It's not a self-identification question. It's not a direct question asking someone to identify themselves as somebody specific. What we're talking about here is we're posting a question that anyone could read. It's about somebody else, okay? We don't use the word you in our headlines, okay? We don't talk directly to people in our headlines. If we ask a question, we just want the question to have context and it not be a self-identification question. This is a question about somebody else, which makes you want to read the story, okay? So I want you to look at the click rates. 10.74, okay, so that's 1 out of 10. I'm sorry, 10 out of 100, right? So 1 out of 10 basically of like 10 out of 100, way better than 2 out of 100. And then his link click rate, 3.85. Roughly a 3-to-1 click ratio, and it is a video, so it's a perfect click ratio, right? With no captions. So 3-to-1. So what that means is they're watching his little 7 to 8 minute video and reading the text. See how it says more here? You click more and you read the rest of the long copy. This worked really, really well, okay? So write that down, this formula. Could a common bond, ultimate benefit after pain by challenge for time frame. Okay. And obviously we send the replay out for this limited time. So if you don't get it now, I've got to move on, but you can always go back and look at it then. Okay. But understand that this is one of our formulas. We've got like 22 of them plus in our offer that we have for you. Okay. Proven headline formulas. All right. Here's one we did for digital marketer. One of the best ones we had. How we turn the pain, which the pain is a one-hit wonder campaign, right? One-hit wonder campaign, including the campaign. That's the pain, which is a one-hit wonder campaign that works once, run the ad for a couple days, and it stops. One-hit wonder, right? What most people have. Then into benefit, okay, pain into benefit, and that is into a customer factory. So the benefit, we're using kind of a metaphor, a customer factory that endlessly generates new customers. That ultimate benefit, okay, that endlessly generates new customers and repeat buyers, okay? So that's endlessly generates new customers and repeat buyers, okay? So that's the ultimate benefit there without being in perpetual testing mode, okay? So that's the challenge. So the important part here is you need to define, if you're a business owner, you should know these elements. And it's just a matter of thinking about them and finding out if this really is the primary elements that your particular market needs to know what your product or service is, okay? So these are the things, even if it's a physical product, like some of you are like, I'm selling a trinket, I'm selling a t-shirt, I'm selling a coffee mug. There is still a pain, okay, associated with someone who wants a particular mug for whatever reason. There's also a benefit. There's also challenges you can talk about. So using this is the actual way that you can help someone make a decision in buying something, where most people go as far as, hey, you know, get this t-shirt. It has like this little sticky, you know, 1 or 2, 3 slapstick humor line on it. And people are like, yeah, here, get this here, 1 half off, da, 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 da. Those are amateur tactics. This is how the professionals market. You want to learn how to market like a professional? Keep listening, okay? So back to this part, right? Here's another headline formula for you. We talked about this one, right? Here's how common bond, here's how homeowners, okay? So you're talking about homeowners, whether you're one or not, is like, if you have friends who are homeowners, you may want to read it for them, right? Instead of saying, are you a homeowner? Are you looking to sell your home? It's like, no, I'm not. Mark is spam, Mark is irrelevant, right? Avoid pain. The pain is owning 2 homes at once, right? Owning 2 homes at once, or even being homeless. That's the pain that someone could experience, okay? The problem is buying a house and not selling your other one, right? So buying a house and then, or your house deal falling through and then you being homeless, like in your house deal falling through and not buying the other one. That's the problem. But the pain is what that looks like, okay? So the problem is what happens, but the pain is what that looks like, how that expresses to be, okay? That's the difference between the pain and the problem, okay? I'm giving them the pain. Owning 2 homes at once, that's not the problem, that's the pain, okay? That's the pain as a result from one of your house deals falling through, which is the problem. Or even being homeless, all right? Even being homeless, that's the pain. That's not the problem necessarily. The problem is not having a home. Being homeless is the pain. When their transaction goes off the rails, okay? When the actual thing we're talking about, the product solution mechanism, their transaction, the thing they were getting, when their house deal goes off the rails in a buyer's market, okay, becomes challenge. The challenge is in a buyer's market, right? Because that means if you're trying to sell your home in a buyer's market, you're not going to get enough for it usually, because there's a lot of them, right? Buyer's market means there's more buyers than sellers, or there's more sellers than buyers, right? So everyone's having to lower their prices. So the challenge is it's in a buyer's market, okay? And then in our subhead, our benefit fixes this, right? Our guaranteed sale program fixes this. Now, guys, I'll tell you right now, I wrote this for him, and he went from having leads cost $200 per real estate lead to $20. We cut it in by 9/10 by doing this, okay? So just understand that's how cool, like that's what you can do when you set proper context. Another quick one. This is Roderick, who ended up just taking out all of his interest targeting. I don't recommend you always do this, especially not right away, but this is what can happen when you use context properly. So this ad at the top, right, is a BANT. It's called broad audience, no targeting. All he did was a country and an age group, 40 to 65. Then down here, the second one down, it says BANT, and the same country, 18 to 39. So all it is two different age groups in the same country. No other interest targeting at all, totally blank. Versus 3 ads that have specific interests and they have much smaller audiences. So here's what happens. The CTR all on the BANTs, 14.51, 7.76. The ads that had interests, CTR alls, 6.2, 5.8, 4.49. So the BANTs, the broad audience, no targeting, right, did better than these laser targeted interests with small audiences. In terms of people how many reacted, 14.51. That means 14 out of 100. Versus one of the interests, it was like 4.5 out of 100. Okay, and that's without being laser targeted. You see what happens is when your audiences are too small, you choke the algorithm. Okay, and the click ratios are perfect for his ads. Okay, so just something to keep in mind is I'm not saying that this method is exclusive to write headline formulas like this with context and then run it to no audience. That's not always going to work. It does when you get the elements right, it does, but I say don't start there because you have to be really good at this and everything has to be right. But what happens is that when you set the proper context with a large enough audience, instead of getting this like you did before with all your data points, you're now getting this. Okay, you're actually getting context to qualify the prospect so the machine learning can find more qualified users. Better qualified prospects, less wasted ad spend, higher conversion rates, sustainable ads, foundation for scaling, which is where you've got your pixels trained and you can spend more and not have your prices go through the roof. Okay, so let me know in the chat if that makes sense. Just say yes. All right, 3 for 1 for both image and video. No, Lisa, image is 2 to 1, video is 3 to 1. A video with captions is about 2.5 to 1. Okay. Yes, I like it. Makes total sense. What governs ad text or targeting the ad setup? Why do you guys keep asking that? How did I not get clear on that? That's interesting. No, it's both. Okay. It's first off, it's not which one wins. Like the ad is not going to go outside who you've got specifically in your targeting. So if you have only an audience of like 500,000 of a specific audience, that ad with all that context is still not going to be able to have a lot of success because your audience is too small because it's only going to look within that 500,000 audience. Okay. If you have a 5 million audience, this ad has a lot more data to play with, and then it'll find enough to sustain for a lot longer. So both play a role. But if you target small, it chokes the algorithm from being able to let this ad and the text and the context of the targeting do its job. So it's not which one is better. They work both in tandem. Let me know if that makes sense in the chat. I need you guys to understand that. If somehow I might have made that unclear, if I apologize, I keep having people ask about that. Understand that it's not one or the other. It's that ad is only going to go to who you have in your target ad set, whether it's 200,000, 200 million. Whoever's in there, that's all it's going to show the ad to. Okay, unless you click that little box that says expand interests, you know, when it will decrease CPA, which we don't recommend doing at first. Okay, so CLO. So large audience when you select, but specific targeting in the ad. Exactly. Okay. So, and this is the thing. So guest 804, when you run the ad, you wouldn't define an audience at all, correct? No, like I've been talking about, you want just a larger audience. Now you can go no audience, but that predicates that you need to have your ad completely dialed in and working well. And we recommend you do that after you've proven and tested your ad and it works on large audiences, okay? And like I would say, like, unless you're a local business, which some of that is limited, although the context formulas will help you find more people within that same small audience. So it still works for local businesses. But if you have an audience that's larger, like if you can go to like worldwide, nationwide, whatever with your offering, then you want to go larger, okay? Because you're going to choke the algorithm if you don't with too small of audiences. So I'm not saying one or the. I'm not saying no targeting. I'm saying large audiences. Like we start our ads usually at about 5 million in our conversion cold traffic ads, and sometimes at 10 million, and even as somewhere upwards as 20 to 30 million. We don't start at like 500,000 or these 200,000 or 100,000 small audiences. That's not enough. It'll work for a couple of days and that's it. So it's not about no targeting or little targeting. It's about audience size. Okay. So understand that your last phase of scaling should be when you have no targeting. After you've already gone through a lot of specific targeting with large audiences, and then you've trained your pixel to know who to look for really well, and your ad account knows who's converting, so that you can go to a broad audience and then be able to still have conversions. So that's the way it would work over time. All right. Okay, so Miley, so am I understanding correctly that the idea is to rely on Facebook AI to find the ideal target audience based on the behavior of the ad audience, and that is more effective than manually targeting an audience? So this would be like targeting to people similar to those who have liked this page. The concept is similar, but I wouldn't agree entirely. And the reason I don't agree entirely is because it's more complicated than that. Because the AI makes a lot more decisions based on a lot of factors other than people who are similar to liking this page. But the concept, yes, I would say. I'm not saying not have any targeting. I'm saying having larger audiences. They still can be targeted, but larger audiences, like 5 million, 10 million, stuff like that, if you're going to be using something that you can go that high. If you have an audience that big, if you're not a local servicing like a local area, right? So that's what I would say to it. Okay. So, all right. That's one trade secret, guys. Like I'm kind of behind a little bit because I've been answering questions, but I want you guys to see one thing here. So Robin in our group, right? Honestly, I'm amazed by this course. I prefer to adapt the concept and avoid following a script. That's a lead magnet campaign in pre-launch setup. 63% conversion rate on the landing page. I've never seen that. Just fire. And if you look at what he's actually saying, his CTR alls, 17, 16, 15, 21, 14. Like, look at that, guys. Okay. So that's like way higher than the average 2% CTR all, right? 17 out of 100, 16 out of 100, 21 out of 100. And perfect click ratios, 6, 6, 5, 8, right? So his click ratios are good. So he's actually having like 5 out of 100 actually clicking on the link. So 5 out of 100 are actually clicking the link. Perfect click ratios, okay? So this is just one example of people that are using our templates, all right? So I want you to understand this part, okay? Because we're gonna go through this part fast. And once we get through this, then we'll give you guys the offer, okay? I want you to understand the engagement continuum. Here's how we're different, okay? Most people, most traditional ads do this. They teach you to run video view and like campaigns at first, in the first phase, and gather audiences from that, right? So you gather a bunch of audiences, people who land on your page, gather more audiences. So you have all these small custom audiences of people that have you've ran like campaigns to, or ran you know, lead campaigns or video views campaigns, right? So you got this large audience. And then they teach you to retarget all of those audiences, retarget all of them into like a lead generation campaign or a purchase campaign. And I would say that that's completely backwards, okay? And I'll prove it, but stay with me. So here's another example. Most traditional direct response funnels they want to have a short ad, 1 or 2 lines, right? 1 or 2 lines where they have a short ad, 1 or 2 lines, curiosity, and they try to get you to click. They're just trying everything they can out of curiosity to get you to go to the next step. The problem with that is you're not pre-qualified. You don't know what you're getting into. So because of that, your opt-in rates are way low at 20%, 30%, because they're not qualified by the time they hit this opt-in page, because you didn't do any pre-qualifying like I did in my long copy 20-minute video, where I gave you half of the damn webinar format in that video in a condensed form, so you know what to expect, right? Which is why I'm getting 90% opt-in rates. And then once they do that, they rely on their sales message to make this happen, to do 90% of the heavy lifting. That's traditional ways. That was based off of people originally clicking on banner ads, email drops, banner advertising, direct Google ads, intent-based search ads. Like all of that was used. Like this is the format used for that. But what happened is all these gurus started to use that on social media, this same format, this same short, unqualified version of leads, and try to use that on Facebook. But the problem is the Facebook algorithm doesn't like that. That's not playing ball with the Facebook algorithm, okay? It short circuits the algorithm's ability to optimize. So instead, here's what we do. We do a newsfeed long ad, or a longer video that's more value-based rather than the 15-second BS videos that Facebook teaches, okay? By the way, my video, if some of you know this, some of you know that the average view through completion rate, where someone watches up to 95% of your video, based on those who watch, the ratio from like 2-second video views to 95%, is usually about 4% of people finish that video. Watch up to 95% of it, which is usually the end of a video, right? Because 15-second videos are the average. You know why 15-second videos are the average? Because Facebook tells everyone to make your videos short and sweet. Only use 15-second videos. They told me this while sitting there in Facebook, Austin, Texas, and I looked at Irina and her eyes popped out of her head and were like, am I listening to this? Am I seriously hearing this? And then it dawned on me. It's because that is serving Facebook's agenda, not your agenda. Their agenda is to be able to serve an ad to as many users as possible. A 15-second ad serves the ad in 15 seconds to somebody, rather than an ad that is a video that is 5 minutes or 20 minutes like mine. Do you know how many 15-second video views and how many times they could show an ad to someone if that one person isn't watching a 20-minute video like mine? They can show it to a lot of people. So for them, it's about, yeah, keep it short and sweet, because they're talking about trying to deliver all the ads. Like they have the obligation to deliver the ads to people. So they say, keep it short and sweet, because then they can move on and show the ad to the next one and get a lot of ads shown and charge more money per ad, okay? But I go against the grain. As you can see, I'm a little bit of a different thinker, and I don't like to follow the herd, and I don't subscribe to the blind leading the blind analogy where I just go, oh, okay, well, that's what they say to do. I'm going to do it. No, I figured this out. I test. So instead, do you know what my completion rate is? My 95% completion rate on my 20-minute video? 4%. The same as a 15-second video. 4%, 95% completion rate. So what does that tell you? Well, for one, do you think you can do a lot of pre-qualifying, educating, and giving value in 15 seconds? Not like I can in my 20-minute video. That's the reason why you're here. Are you starting to see why and how these are different than traditional advertising and what you've been taught? This is different, guys. You've got to do most of the pre-qualifying and pre-selling on the ad platform, on Facebook, on social media, because then you can take advantage of the algorithm to help you and work with you. Traditional direct response marketers who are so stuck in their ways, they can't even think about it this way because they're so used to doing it the old way. Or you have others who have just been taught this and they don't think critically about it, and so they're just being taught to do it and they're just blindly following without questioning. And I'm telling you right now, this works better than anything. We have gurus come to us that are crying because they can't get their ads to work anymore. And they're the ones that do have a lot of credibility and they're not working the way they used to. And I'm the one helping them behind the scenes. And when you understand this stuff, you'll know which ones they are when you see their ads. Okay, I'm not going to tell you. Wow, yeah, wow, exactly. So, Michael, what is a good audience size in relation to the available audience before adding targeting? In my location, there's 5 million. How big should this be once I start adding interests? If you're in a local area, Michael, where it's 5 million, I wouldn't even use targeting. I would just do the whole area at 5 million. And I may try a little bit of targeting at first to see if I can get, some response, but it's honestly where you use the templates that we have, because it helps actually give context for people. But what's going to happen is you probably want to try a few small interests at around 1 million or 2 right at first if you haven't had any success and you have an unproven offer. Okay, because there's layers to this. Like, I can't just say as a blanket, like, do this. I don't know your offer. I don't know what your price point is. I don't know your market. I don't know the niche. Like, there's a lot of things that come into play, and our offer, our actual course, actually helps you find and define all of that stuff so that you can make these decisions. Okay, I don't have time to go into all of that right now, but Michael, I want you to start thinking about the messaging here and stop worrying so much about the optimization, because if you learn this stuff, you can go 5 million to your audience without any of the interest targeting. You're good to go. Stop worrying about all that ad optimization and focus on the messaging. That's where the real rubber meets the road. That's where the amateurs are separated from the professionals. So that's where I'd say, Mike. Yeah, crazy. Okay. So another example here, just for you to get the idea, is that, 70% going to an opt-in, 20% is the offer. So now all of a sudden, instead of having to hire a copywriter to write you a 20-page long copy sales letter, you can do less of an offer that is not so heavy, not so coercive, not so manipulative, and not so hard twisting people's arms with manipulation, and do that naturally, because you did a lot of the pre-qualifying naturally with people here, a lot of the pre-selling here, without selling. It's the art of selling without selling, okay? And then this opt-in, this is what gets you those really high over 50% opt-in rates. And I'll tell you what, whenever Facebook, because your Facebook pixel is tracking your landing page views, right? Whenever you have like an opt-in and someone moves through to the second page of your landing page, like they hit your landing page and then they click through and either opt in or they click to like a checkout page or something like that, whenever they move to your second page, if that's over 50%, it's like, it's the only time I'll say magical, but it just seems like it's like Facebook starts to favor your ads so much that it works. It works so much better. Your costs go down. Your optimization is better. Your ROI is better. Like, it starts to reward you because the experience, the user experience, is not just the ad itself. They are tracking the user experience through your landing page and every page in your funnel, as long as that Facebook pixel is on it, which you want it to be on there so that they can track those things. So if they have a better experience and they convert at a higher rate on your funnel, this is going to help your ad get higher scores. This is going to help your ad get priority placement in the auctions, because it's having a better user experience than the ads that don't convert well, that are not qualified, that are curiosity based, that a lot of people are clicking off of and not taking action further on. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure, Fernian. That's kind of a very, very small audience. You may have to rethink a little bit about your. That's going to be tough, but you're not going to be able to use conversion ads. You're going to have to use something like page post engagement or traffic, or link click ads. It'll still work a lot better, Fernian, but I don't know if with such a small audience, I don't know what the cost is. Like if they're all paying like $5,000, then that's different. But I mean, you have a very, 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 very limited market of 1,000 people. I'm not sure that's going to work for you, unless you can expand that market. Okay. Now, if you can, then I'd say all for it. Okay. So anyways, I'm just giving you guys some examples here. Like for my particular case, I showed you my 20-minute video, right? I basically walked you through a lot of these concepts at a very like surface level. So you got the idea and the understanding of what this is about and how it's different. So I basically gave you like, in my 20-minute video on my copy, like 50%. I gave you like the high level. And then what I did is you came to my page, 90% opt-in rates. And then in the webinar, I'm going extra long. I'm actually making this really valuable rather than some quick little, hey, 3 tips for you and here's my offer. Let me buy my thing, right? We don't care. That's not important to us. We want the right people that this is going to work for. Okay, we make plenty of money. We do enough here, but we're looking for more people like us. Okay, and so what this comes down to is now I can give only 40% of my webinar versus like 80, 90%, which is what a traditional funnel would have, and I don't have to try so hard. But because I have to re-educate you about so much of this, there's still a lot I have to do. I had to back up all the things that I said in my ad in terms of here's how this works, and I needed to show proof of it here because I couldn't show all that proof on a whiteboard. Couldn't show you screenshots, couldn't show you that stuff, okay? So let me give you one example here of this, okay? So Kim, right? Kim is content calendar, selling like, it's like a $9 offer, right? So she's got a content calendar system. It's like how to repurpose all your content rather than just reposting the same stuff all the time as a content creator. So what happens is we wrote this ad for her about 8 months ago, okay? And I'll show you the full ad here in a minute, but it's going to a $9 offer. So here's what happened. So we wrote it for her, and back in September last year. Thank you again. By the way, in less than 24 hours, $4 sales to our front end offer from a nice cold audience and a few upsells too from the guys from the ad you guys wrote for us. #winning. So $9 offer costing $4. So literally making $5 profit just on the front end, offer liquidator. Like I want to show you, like it was right out of the gate. So it was only 4 sales. So costs may go up a little bit, right? Which it did, but right out of the gate, it was working really, really, really well. So here's the thing, she's like, thanks so much. She's just like telling us like, this is awesome. Haven't even made changes to the sales page or the upsells yet. Josh was the one that actually wrote that ad. Can you tell I'm freaking excited? Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So 6 months later, I check in with her. She said, so sorry for the delayed response. The ad you guys wrote for us is ridiculous, right? So still implementing all the awesome changes, right? But even without completely optimized funnel, we've gone from 275 members to almost 900 members in the business lounge. Now the business lounge is her upsell. So she has a front end offer for $9. And then once they buy it, they get automatically redirected to a $49 a month offer. Okay, so it's her membership site for $49 a month. Before this ad, she had 275 members. The upsells, now she's got 900 within 6 months. So here's what actually happened. Watch this. So you can see here, it's the same email, just a continuation. All right. Still implementing all the awesome changes, 275 to 900 members of the business lounge. What is this real life? LOL. Since September, we've had 6,610 orders on the intro offer. We 4x'd our maximum recurring revenue to close to 40K a month. And we're consistently hitting 50 to 60K a month in profits. I want you guys to understand that. 6,610 $9 front-end offers to that content calendar, okay? 4x their maximum recurring revenue to close to 40K a month. Consistently hitting 50 to 60K a month in profits because of the upsell. Had to hire a new support person. Thank you so much for all your help. You've changed my business in every possible way, and I couldn't be more grateful to you, Irina, and the entire North Node team. I have my eye on hitting 7 figures, so I'm excited to keep up-leveling our game and scaling the brand, all right? So how did this work? Okay, let me show you this particular ad. I want you guys to understand this. And I know we're at 2 hours, guys. We got just a little bit more, and then we will go ahead and give you everything we promised. Sunny, selling live fish online. How does this work for me? Interesting. I mean, you just telling me that, Sunny, I really wouldn't. I need to know more than that, but I don't have time to get into that right now. But we might be able to talk a little bit more about this in Q&A session after we give you guys the offer and the template. Okay. People land on websites but not buying. Sunny, yeah, totally get that. That could be an ad to offer mismatch, or it could be that your offer is not right. Okay. So let me show you what we did here, so that you see Now you can see the headline formula here, how my content calendar system takes content creators from endless brainstorm mode to routinely rolling out hard-hitting content without creating new stuff every day. Okay, notice we didn't say how to, we didn't say use the word you, we're not asking them a direct question, we're saying how my system, how my solution, my mechanism takes these people from this to this without creating new stuff every day. Then we offer the credibility that she has for what she does, okay? Found that the single biggest roadblock, boom, boom, boom. This is the presenting the problem part of the Epic ad. Okay, now I just want to kind of move through here and you'll see we have our first call to action here. We go through all the deliverables, another call to action, get into value justification, bonuses, all of that, and literally tell them the price right inside the ad, okay? And then even do the guarantee and all of it right here inside the ad. All of it's done right inside the ad. All of it, okay? So then what happens here? How did we do that? So here's this Epic ad formula. So this is what it's based off of. The Epic ad formula has been developed over 6 to 7 years of constant optimization and refining this process to where now it works with anything, okay? It started out as storytelling, and then we were able to extract everything from it and understand psychologically what moves people and helps people make decisions, and we were able to put it into a generic formula called the Epic ad formula. It's an acronym, EPIC. It stands for engage, which is engage with proper context, right? Which is what we've been teaching you about proper context. Then the next part is presenting the problems and pains and empathizing, okay? Then illustrate, which is where how you illustrate the solution literally right inside of your ad. This is what most people don't do. They think they have to, they're too afraid to give so much, then people aren't gonna take the rest, which is ridiculous, right? You gotta prove it, and then give the right type of call to action, convert, right? Convert, call to action, right? And do it right, not do it like coercion or manipulation. This process follows a natural decision-making psychology by walking the brain through a natural progression to a point of logical conclusion. Folks, this is that progression, okay? So pay attention, all right? With this part here, with Kimberly, this was the engage, okay? E. This is the present, okay? Presenting the problem and empathizing. This is the illustrate, okay? So we're doing I, illustrate, okay? We're illustrating the solution. And this is the convert. See, we even went so far as to justify the value saying it normally sells for $99, which it was, and we knocked it down to $9 for a special, and it worked so well we kept it there for a long time. Okay, still running this ad. This ad is still running after 8 months, guys. Okay, still running, hasn't turned off. Okay, and so you can see there's multiple links along the way for people at every step wanting to be able to click, give them a chance to go to the sales page. Okay, so it goes to a sales page. Understand that now we didn't write this part down on the bottom. She actually, we wrote the ad and then she created this at the bottom. We were supposed to tell her to say, you know, how my content calendar system does something, you know, like, and there's a differentiator there, right? But she just took it to go place it herself. We weren't running the ads. Still worked really, really well, okay? But even her click rates are a little low because of that how-to down there. But even then, we're still making front-end sales at a profit, okay? To the tune of 6,610 of them at the time, and now it's way up into 8,000, okay? Because she's scaling. So I want you guys to understand that's the Epic ad formula. Engage, present, illustrate, convert. But people don't do this. They want to use like something that's like 2 lines and then send them off to their offer. And that's what short circuits their ads. If you do all of this here, then I want you to think about something here, okay? Think about it this way. We told them the price. So what does that mean? Anybody who clicks this link or the one down here, they already know the price. So if they're clicking and they already know the price, then that means they're at least considering buying it. Okay, that is someone who already knows the price. They're way more qualified than trying to use curiosity by saying something like from the first two, lines, and then nothing else. Because now that means more of the people that are landing on that page are actually doing it, and they're qualified, and they're going to convert at a higher rate, which Facebook sees and goes, these types of people are the ones that are clicking. Let's go find more of them. So we're helping the algorithm optimize for a more specific person that's willing to buy. So it's going to go show the ad to more people that show in their profile all the data points that indicate they're willing to buy stuff like this. They have a history of buying $9 products or less or more. Okay. So when you give the algorithm enough data, it allows it to do so much more. Does that make sense? If you guys understand that, let me know in the chat if that whole concept of pre-qualification and pre-selling helps the algorithm go find the right people. You can make the Facebook artificial intelligence be your best salesperson for you. Okay. Yeah. Qualifies the audience. Right. Does this work for selling an app in Google Play and Apple Store? Yeah, absolutely. Why not? It's the psychology. People landing on, okay, okay, all right, cool. So, all right, man, we haven't lost a soul since we started. This is awesome. Okay, so you guys, so you're loving this. Let me know in the chat if this makes sense. Say yes. Okay, Michael, yeah, cool, all right. Okay, so that's trade secret 2. All right. So I want to show you real quick. We did the same thing with Chris, right? So Chris wrote this offer. Chris was selling, like, one of the things we did for him, and this is back to smart music business. Remember the first one we showed his ad, which was really bad? We got to redeem him now, right? So Chris, he has 2 sides of his business. He's an independent music artist that is not signed to a record label. And he has one side of his business where he's selling his albums. So what we did is we literally wrote an ad that helped him sell his compact disc, physical product, CDs in 2017, 2018, 2019, right? Still running on Facebook direct through the news feed. And you know what happened? Facebook they said they'd never seen anybody be able to successfully do this. And so they actually put a success story of him. They featured him, interviewed him, showing that he was basically almost doubling his return on ad spend, having a 25% increase in sales on music streaming services like Spotify, Pandora. Because like for me, I just use Spotify, right? So like Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube Music, Pandora, like whatever I'm paying for my streaming on, if I go see that, in the news feed, then I just go listen to it on my Spotify because I have a paid app, right? I'm paying a couple bucks a month for that. So he saw a 25% increase as well as doubling his money from selling CDs. Okay. Now, that's one part of his business. Very, very successful. Okay. The other part is that he teaches other independent music artists how to properly promote themselves. So one of them was an offer to buy a course on how to use Spotify to get on the big playlist, how to get your music monetized on Spotify, how to put all your stuff on Spotify, how to get all more airplay and all that stuff. So how to basically use Spotify. It's a $37 offer. We wrote this ad for it, wrote the whole thing here, right? So here's what we did. So we used that ad and we went to a landing page that was just literally a cart checkout page, right? See this? This checkout page, all it had was a 7-minute video of him explaining why they should buy it, right? Here's what it contains, which is the same video that was in the news feed. Don't be afraid to be redundant, guys. You can be redundant and it's just fine because some will watch this video here in the newsfeed. Some will watch it here, which means when they get here and they see it's the same video, they won't watch it and they'll just move on. Some won't watch this and they'll just read the copy and then maybe watch some of the video. And if they don't, they come here, they can still watch the video here, okay? It's okay to be redundant, okay? We basically did the same thing with Kimberly's sales page. We condensed all of the major elements and put that on our ad, right? Along with our formula, but took the main elements of it. Now, then all they did is came to a page where it was you know, the video, if they didn't watch it, the branding, okay, the deliverables right here, the value justification, and then you've got your form to fill out to buy. That's it. No big sales page, none of that. And this went to a $37 offer, okay? So I want you to now see here, down here, the cost per result, right? The cost per result, $24.76. So you see it down here where the arrow is, $24.76 to make a $37 sale. Well, guess what that is? That's about $12, almost $13 in profit after 208 purchases. So we ran this for a long time, okay? Now, how would you like to know how to do that? Well, that's this ad, okay? Here's the crazy thing. That's it, okay? Now, some of you are like, well, the video probably did most of the selling, right? Well, it helped. Yes, it did. But guess what? That video is still on the sales page, right? So here's what we did is we took that same ad that didn't have the video and just put that same image that was on the landing page here, right here, okay? We did that and did $33 per sale, still making a $4 profit because it was a $37 sale. Now, here's the crazy thing. Here's the thing that I want you to understand. They got redirected to his one-time offer for another course of his that there was a deeper dive into how he promotes his music on YouTube, other places, right? And it was $97 a month. A certain portion of these people who bought this at a much higher rate than lead opt-ins bought this one-time offer. And because of that, they ended up, the cost per sale, every time they made one of these $37 sales, they were actually making more like $60 per sale because of the 20 or 30% or so that took the $97 upsell. So every time they paid $24.76, they were making more like $60, okay? So that's something I want you to understand. And so after doing all this, we just used the text ad to cold traffic. And yeah, it costed a little more, but we did do another 284 sales, as you can see down here, running it to cold interest, an audience of about like 30 million, 284 purchases, 1.29 million impressions, right? And cost per result, $32.90. So basically 33 bucks, right? $32.90, 10 cents a month. So this particular ad, same thing. Engage, present, illustrate, convert. And this is actually more of like illustrate down to here. This is kind of like illustrating and converting because we're justifying the value with the bonuses. You can see here listed at the end of the bonuses. So we literally made the case for like why this works better, quick explanation, gave the deliverables, presenting the problems, and then illustrating finally, illustrating the price even up here in the middle of the ad. And funny because we were telling them it was $97. We didn't even tell them it was 37. We lowered the price. So when they got there, they were like, holy crap, they lowered to 37, even more people bought it, okay? Telling them it's 97, them still clicking and seeing it for 37, and that's why it was working so well. People are like, oh, wow, okay. And then the bonuses, still illustrating, but also starting to convert and justifying the value, and then doing all the value justification and the proper call to action down here, okay? So by the way, the ad template that we're giving you at the end of this training, okay, we'll be giving you here soon, is actually derived from this template, okay? So it's derived from this template. So literally like from this ad. So the template you get is based on this ad, the one that works really, really well. It's the text one. It doesn't have the video outline, it just has the text, the one that works, okay? You can do, and you can use that same formula for $9 offers, $17 offers, $10 offers, whatever, right? Change the price whatever you want, keep it under 50 bucks, okay, for front-end offers, and still works, okay? provided that you have your message elements right, provided that you've defined, here's what makes this work, guys. The elements themselves are what matter, okay? The pain, the benefit, the challenge, the common bond, the credibility, all of that matters, okay? So look at his headline. Why getting paid for your online streams, which is the benefit, is 10 times easier, that's all the benefit, than trying to sell your album from stage, that's the pain, and how you can get paid every time fans listen to your song. So that's setting proper context. If we had different elements, it wouldn't work, okay? So if you're a business owner, you know your business. If you're trying to promote some other third-party product, you better know that product really well, okay? But there's another thing about this, okay? But I'll get to that in a minute, but it's about awareness levels, and I want you guys to understand this, okay? But before that, I just want to show you, like, this is Chris, big picture of him with his, he dresses like a bum, but makes a lot of money independently, not tied to a record label, okay? And he's like a rock artist. And there's this plaque of his success story, right? And it's just him with like a few text messages back from me, saying, hey, you're an idiot if you don't hire Chris. Guys, like, could you give someone a reference for me? Or I said, would you be willing to chat, with someone for a couple minutes? I was asking him to chat for one of my prospective clients. He says, every time I get off the phone with Chris or meet him in person, I make money. What else does he need to hear? Like, that, dude, you can't make this stuff up, So here's something else, guys. So that's cool, right? But I want you to also understand that, let's move on. But I want to show you one other thing here. So this is one of our clients, Brian, and he was teaching music producers how they can run their studio and market their studio and get clients for their home studio, right? Because he did this successfully. And funny enough, Brian came as a referral from Chris. Okay, so that's why in the music industry, right? So there you go. But this is one of our shorter, they don't always have to be super long, right? This is one of our webinar ads going to his webinar, okay? And here's the difference. This is what I want to talk about when it comes to the 5 fallacies of Facebook ads again. And remember the one about optimizing for the next step. So usually if you're optimizing for the next step, then awesome. I'm seeing everybody saying yes, 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 totally in here. Right on, guys. Okay, cool. So you're all still with me. Right on. I know we're at like 2.5 hours. So we're going to drop this thing here in a minute. So we were running it to his webinar, okay? But the way you optimize makes a difference, okay? So I want to show you something. We ran the same exact ad to the same exact audience. The only thing different was the type of optimization we did. Because usually if you're going to run, like to a webinar, right? You're going to optimize for webinar registrants. You're going to optimize for leads, which is what most people will tell you what to do. But I want you to understand something, and this is where we get into the parts about the algorithm, okay? So I want you to see the differences here. Exactly the same ad, exactly the same targeting, exactly the same audience, okay? Just duplicated and using a different optimization. So conversion optimization, we optimized for lead, which is the lead of someone opting into, we'd fire the lead when they registered for the webinar, okay? And then we did one for those who only attended the webinar, okay? So it was firing the attendees, and it was we're using I think it was add to wish list, I think was the standard event we were using. But we were firing it when they showed up to the webinar, okay? So we fired only that when they showed up to the webinar. So what we did is we optimized for attendees. So it was only going to people who were more likely to show up to the webinar. Costed more to get them to the webinar, but costed less for the sale. And then the last 2 down here are sales, where we were doing one ad budget sales and another one was a different lookalike audience. So down here, this one was the exact same, and then this was like larger audiences at scale, right? Starting to scale out, broader audiences. So look what happened. The lead, I want you to come all the way over to the end, 40 purchases, or no, sorry, 59 purchases. That's offline. That's like one of our tracking things, right? It was messed up. And then 177 per sale from the webinar, okay? 177. When we optimized for attendees, we did 155 per sale, okay? The cost per lead was more. See this, 636 versus 403, okay? The cost per lead was more, okay, which most people would be like, oh, I want the cheap lead. Let's optimize for a lead. But the actual cost to make your sale, which is what really actually matters, your return on investment, was less with the attendees than it was for optimizing for leads, optimizing further down the funnel for another step. Then the best part is, then we optimized for actual purchase, which is tough to do. You can't always do this if you don't have enough volume, but we did that, and guess what it did? The cost per lead was a little bit higher, only a little bit though, but then the cost per sale, look at that, $66 per sale versus attendees was 155 and versus leads, which was 177. So we literally like, it cut the cost in a third in terms of optimizing for purchase, because it was going to people, showing the ad to people that Facebook sees in their data profile as having a history of buying things. So they're more likely to buy stuff. They're buyers, right? So the cost per sale was a third of what the leads was, and still like 2.5 of what the attendees were. And then our other one that wasn't as targeted, which was broad, was still getting us 103 per sale, which was still better than the leads or the attendees. So that is what I'm talking about when you can optimize for multiple objectives further down in the funnel, and it helps. But you notice we didn't do just sales, because some people would say, well, what about only sales? Like, why don't you just do all sales then? Not the way the algorithm works, because you need at least a certain number of conversions per week for what you're optimizing for in order for the algorithm to continue to optimize per ad set. Well, we needed to run enough volume to be able to still have enough people coming through the funnel that we had enough leads, sales, and purchases. It works synergistically together. Most people who would make the mistake of just optimizing for purchase, and that's it. And then their ad would stop running because they're not getting enough conversions. Okay, for a high ticket offer like this, which was like a $600 offer for his course, that's not going to work just doing purchases. Okay, it works because we're using enough volume from the other ones that the pixel sees all this other volume and can still optimize. Okay, so it works together. Multiple optimizations going to the same thing, same targeting, right? Just really large audiences. So a lot of you would be like, well, isn't that a lot of overlap? I mean, if they're the same targeting, then wouldn't the lead and the attendees, wouldn't they overlap a lot? Little bit. But what happens is when you optimize for a different optimization, it goes to different people inside of that. So here's why. When you optimize for sales and for purchase, right? What happens is that your ad is going to go to like 5 to 15% of that total audience. So let's say you have 1 million people in your audience. It's going to show it to 50,000 to 150,000 when you optimize for purchase. It's just the way the algorithm works. Maybe 20% if it's a really super targeted audience. Maybe, right? So you're going to get at best, 1 out of 5 people are going to see this ad. Why? Because these are the ones that only have that buyer data in their profile, okay? But when you go to attendees, now all of a sudden it's going to go to more like 20, 25 to 50%, 25 to 40%, and that's arbitrary, right? It could be 50% depending on the audience. But they're going to show it to a separate 25 to 40% who have common data points that show up to webinars much more, right? Doesn't mean they have buyer data, but they show up more. So you have more volume there. And there's people, obviously, you still have 46 sales out of these people, right? Still costed 155, still costed more, but you're still making those sales. We can't scale with just purchase. That's what I'm saying is you only go to a small portion of the audience. When you get leads, you have more like 30 to like 50% of the audience. And there may be some overlap here between these two, but not much. And so you actually can scale out more, okay? And when your ad works really, really well and is proven and has made a lot of sales, has lots of social proof, then you can do things like link clicks or landing page views when the ad works really well. And it may cost more than this, but you'll get to scale. Heck, if it's worth $250 per sale and you're still making $600 on that, then you're still able to scale and make more money. So all I'm saying is don't put all your eggs in one basket with one optimization, because one optimization doesn't go to the whole entire audience that you're targeting. That's why you need very large audiences, okay? All right, so what I'm gonna do now is, because it's at 2.5 hours, what I wanna do here is I'm gonna talk to you guys for a minute here about, I'm gonna go to our third trade secret, but here's what I'm gonna do first, right? What I'm first gonna do is, well, first I'm gonna show you someone who came into our group using our offer, using our templates, Chuck, right? So he runs an agency and he's doing it for finance clients, getting clients, right? Locally. This client, he says, this training is ridiculous. And he says it in a good way. That's the millennial way of saying good. This client was getting these leads between $18 and $24. So $18 and $24 leads, right? And was happy with that. I made these last night, testing 5 different templates. They are targeting financial advisors to sell leads and training. I'm using the same lead magnet with the same opt-in page. So everything else is the same. Only the ad copy is different. $18 to $24 leads. Look over here, cost per result. You're getting 17 of them right away, overnight. Cost per result, $2.59 per lead. As opposed to 18 to 24. So we cut it by 9/10. So he's now getting leads at a tenth of the cost as before, using our templates. That's the type of stuff that happens all the time. Okay, just wanted you to know that. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'll stop the share for a minute. All right, I want to talk to you guys. Okay, I want to respect your time. I know we said we go about 2 hours and we've got a lot of questions, and I'm trying to do the best I can. But we're Saturday, right? Like it's like we're having fun. We're going a little longer. And I think you guys are enjoying the extra training. So I'm going to continue and give you the last trade secret, right? And then I'm going to give you the offer as well. But what I'm going to do first is I want you all to understand how important this is. And let me know in the chat if this has been making sense to you so far. Like, I mean, I've seen the yeses, the yeses, the yeses. And is this different than any other training you've ever seen? Let me know in the chat. Or if you've heard it, like some of you may have heard, like, yeah, long copy works well, but I can't get it to work. I just wanted to know, like, how different is this? Because I told you it's going to be different than anything else you've ever seen. I want to know if this is actually different, and like first time you're seeing and understanding this, and if this has changed your mind about what Facebook ads and Instagram ads can be. And it's all social media. So you know, LinkedIn, you know, other stuff as well, right? So let me know if this has like changed your mind. You can say yes. You can let me know how you like it. You can let me know any observations you have. This is kind of that time for that, right? Because I need to make sure that we're on track here. So let's recap here real quick. And I'm going to go back to the slides here in a minute. But I've showed you 2 of our 3 trade secrets. I've showed you why copywriters don't do well with this stuff, because they're doing traditional ways that don't work for social media. You can have them go do it on your page. That's fine, but not on your ad, right? I've showed you why you should use multiple optimization points rather than only optimizing for the next step. Okay, you see the magic there with that. Okay, the whole other next continuation of that is when you optimize for purchase, you're getting better people that you're qualifying and pixeling to retarget, which make you even more money. Like it's just free money, right? When you retarget those people, because they're much more qualified, much better buyer data. They buy at a higher rate, way better, right? But I'm not going to get into that right now. But what I do want to know is, you can see how this is different than fundamental traditional marketing. Is this different than anything else you've been taught? That's what I want to know. So I'm loving it. Yes, absolutely. You are great. I'm making pizza in the meantime. That's funny, Chloe. Chloe, you got to pay attention, like visually here. This is important, because if you're making pizza in the meantime, then you're not seeing everything, okay? Enough proof, please move on. That's nice. Enough proof, please move on. So I was just going to ask, did I prove this to you guys? So Right on, guest 5487. Let me know your name. Getting hungry. That's funny. Are there stats for the number of bonuses, if any, to give away? Guest 7401, you're overthinking it. Okay, give away what you have, right? Don't worry about the number of bonuses. With small front-end offers, I like to give as many bonuses as there are deliverables of main things, and it seems to work really well, right? That's a good guideline for you, right? But I don't think it matters that much. Can you track your offer success based on bonuses that lead to a sale? I guess my point is, how important are offering bonuses to entice a sale? Bonuses are super important to offer to entice a sale usually, but at the same time, guest 7401, tell me your name. You're thinking about, like, you're going way deep, siloed into something that doesn't matter as much. You need to understand this whole thing. So great that you're thinking about it, but don't miss the forest for the trees on this, because that's not a primary thing. I haven't tested the difference. I do notice that when I give the same number of bonuses as deliverables, I tend to do that out of preference, and that's kind of like my confirmation bias, why I would say that's the thing to do, but I don't necessarily always agree that's the case, okay? It's more about the value that's justified. So it's not how many, is the value justified? Loving it, but already well over time. Yeah, I totally get that. Okay. This has been very interesting. My best performing ads have accidentally had some attributes similar to what you're describing. I'm going to have to think hard about how to craft the story of my retail product for a long form ad. I sell science themed jewelry, so there's a story to be had. Well, our offer actually has a whole module called the Epic Story Selling process. And it's like this full, like, unpacked 24-point process that you follow that is not just a hero's journey style thing, but actually shows you how to tell a story to sell something, okay? Whether it's first person perspective, third person perspective, second person narrative, editorial, doesn't matter, right? So that's all in there, a full module on how to do that. That's gonna work extremely well for you, Miley, all right? First explanation of the Facebook algorithm that makes 100% sense. Thank you, Sophus. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go in through a trade secret, and then we're gonna give the offer here soon. So right now, Matt, here's what I'm gonna do. For those of you who gotta go, because I know it's late, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to break the rules, all the traditional here, because I know I've given you guys enough value. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna post our link to the offer right now in the chat, okay? And you guys who wanna leave, you know, can pick it up and grab it and go, okay? Because you kind of get that this is like nothing else you've ever seen, and you know the value is there. So it's gonna be, our product is called Code to Conversions. It's our full system that we use in our agency that gets way better results than anybody else. All of our 22 different ad formulas, we got 8 different ad templates in there right now, and more being added all the time. And our story selling formulas, our offer analysis, our ideal customer formulas, our 18 social rules of engagement, so you don't screw up your engagement in your context setting, right? And how to write the ads properly, structure and all that stuff, right? Copywriting stuff. And even our setup and optimization process, and our troubleshooting process, so that when the ads don't work, you know what metrics to look at, so you know how to fix them, okay? Because the metrics will tell a story, okay? So all of that, okay, the link is now in the chat, and you can go in there and pick it up, okay? So we've got a payment plan for those of you that, you know, might be steep at first, but I promise you here, how fast you are going to make your money back by having better ads is unbelievable. You will make your money back so fast by the ROI from using these types of ads, literally using the fill in the blank long copy templates that follow a specific decision-making process, and like ensuring that you don't screw this up when you're new. And I'll tell you, it takes about 4 to 6 months for most conversion coders who buy this course to stop using the templates, where they internalize the psychology and they start just doing Epic Ad Formula. Because basically our templates are our Epic Ad Formula designed to do a certain thing. There's ones that go direct to sales, there's ones that generate leads for webinars, there's ones that go to physical products, there's ones that go to, well, direct to sale products, whether they're physical, local, business, whatever, right? Because it's more about the decision-making psychology. It's not about the product. You can insert any product or service into this stuff because it's the psychology itself, because you're talking about pains and benefits and solutions and challenges, mechanisms, all that stuff. That's what makes people's decisions to buy stuff, right? So this works for any type of products. It works for coaches, it works for physical products, it works for local businesses, it works for digital products, it works for agencies, because we can go do it on any of those, right? And so, and you've got templates to follow and checklists and frameworks, right? But it usually takes 4 to 6 months of using the templates where then people switch over to just writing direct epic ads from scratch. That's when you've internalized the mental framework. And that is where it really gets fun. But this will, if done right, when you get these elements right, will revolutionize your business and supercharge it and put it on steroids when you start to see the types of numbers, sustainable ads. It helps you scale, and you can have way more profit margins because you're starting to do this right. And on top of that, we have an offer analysis, which helps you look at the offer and make sure you don't have anything missing on your offer. Like, the problem may not necessarily always be as much as your ads. Your ads might be all right, but then your offer, your landing page and what your offer is, could not be ideal. You might be missing some things. And so we have an analysis that allows you to go look at your offer and follow these 10 things and just check off, like, do they have all these 10 things? And we've had a lot of people come in and say, you know what, I'm missing 2 out of these 10 things. And when I added it to them, I increased my conversions by 30%. I increased my conversion by 50%. I doubled my conversions because it was so important. I didn't put this part on it. Like, I got that a lot, right? You see that in our group. So yeah, you want to be a part of this. Does it work for affiliate marketing? Guess 7401. Yes, it does. But remember, affiliate marketing by nature, a lot of the products and a lot of the offers for affiliate marketing are against Facebook's terms and conditions. If you're talking about business opportunities, if you're talking about MLMs, if you're talking about weight loss, they're severely restricted or completely prohibited. So what happens is you can use these templates, but use them at their own risk. And these ads, with the way they're crafted, are going to be less threatening and less of a chance to get shut down. But if you're playing in those niches, understand you are playing a ticking time bomb, okay? Because most of these products are not compliant with Facebook, okay? Whether it's the sales page that's not compliant or not, okay? So we have some hacks and some shortcuts inside of the group that for affiliate marketers that we use, and I get into that a little bit in the group, and you'll see some posts about that in there, okay? So one of the things that comes with this product is obviously our Facebook group, okay? So you wanna be able to be a part of that because you can actually post your ads in there and get like feedback, okay? So here's the thing, guys. If you wanna stick around with us, okay, I'm gonna show you the third trade secret, creating customers on demand, and then I'll actually walk you through a little bit of the offer, give you the template, okay? So let's do this, let's do it. Trade secret number 3, casting your pole in blue oceans. How to create pre-qualified prospects out of thin air, okay? This is a very small number of elite marketers. No one uses this tactic. And my question really is, why would you want to compete with everyone else when you don't have to? Make your competition irrelevant. What I mean by that is this thing you see on the right here. This is the 5 states of awareness. This was originally created by a copywriter named Eugene Schwartz. He was a Madison Avenue copywriter. He wrote a book called Breakthrough Advertising that will completely melt your brain. And that book costs a couple $100 right now because it's out of print to even find, but he's one of the geniuses of our time, one of the smartest people to walk the earth. He had names for concepts that there was no names for because the concepts, he created them. He understood them. This is one of them. This is one of his most famous ones, okay? So I want you to think about this from the context of every product has a problem it solves, and every product has a solution, okay? And so how people start is that we're gonna count down from 5 to 1 backwards, right? So let's say you are like we're selling a let's just say, right, like a supplement, right? Like a physical product supplement. So let's say we're selling a gut cleansing kit, because that's one of the templates that's going to be coming in the course here soon, as we're working on and optimizing right now, is selling a supplement that is a gut cleansing kit, okay? Well, what is the problem? Why would you need to cleanse your gut? Because the problem is something called increased intestinal permeability, or commonly referred to as leaky gut. Leaky gut causes all kinds of problems and pains, right? Leaky gut can cause brain fog, fatigue, dizziness, rashes, skin rashes, things like that, right? Constipation, all those things, which basically means like their gut is so caked up and clogged that the food that's rotting is leaking out through microscopic cuts in your intestinal lining into your bloodstream. causing you to have these reactions. It's not supposed to do that, right? That's like internal bleeding in a way, right? So people who are unaware of leaky gut, we can say to them, here's the symptoms that 80% of Americans suffer from that they don't even know they have. Brain fog, fatigue, constipation, whatever, right? So they're unaware of the problem, although they have the pains. So we make them aware of the problem and they go, oh, wow, this is actually a problem. This could be me. And then you let them know what the solution is. Well, the solution is all these certain herbs that cleanse your gut naturally without harm. Okay. So that's the first layer is being able to make them aware of the problem. Okay. Because some people may not be aware of the problem. The second layer is problem aware people. People who already have a problem. They're like, yeah, I have leaky gut. I don't know how to fix it. I have this problem in my gut and I'm not sure how to make it work. I'm not sure what to do about it, right? So they're aware of the problem they have, but they are not aware of the solution that solves it, okay? Same thing with a chiropractor, or like if you're a chiropractor, back pain. Someone has back pain, but they don't know what's gonna fix it. They don't know if they have to stretch. They don't know if they have to get an operation. They don't know if they have to hire a personal trainer. They don't know if they have to go to a chiropractor to get their spine manipulated and adjusted. They don't know the solution. So the way you talk to someone at problem aware is different than the way you would talk to someone at unaware. In the case of back pain here, you wouldn't even have, back pain. So you really can't do back pain for people who are unaware of the problem, right? Now, the thing is, here's what I want you to understand. Not all products fall into all 5 of these particular awarenesses. Some of them, like cell phones, right? Everybody knows what a cell phone is, a smartphone. Everyone knows what a smartphone is. So no one has a problem with being able to communicate with somebody already, okay? But where you can go with this is like the problem that big cell phones have these days, let them know about, the problem they have and then say, our new solution solves this with our cell phone. Like our features inside of our cell phone solve this pre-existing problem with other smartphones because they have a problem inside of their smartphone, something they don't like, something that causes pain, frustration, okay? But most people don't know how to do that. That's like where the magic is of creating new people, because creating new prospects on demand is when someone doesn't even know they have a problem. They're not your market. Like most trainers will tell you, don't go to these people because they're not your market. They don't have a need. Well, you create the need, okay? Make them aware of a problem. But here's where most ad trainers are going to teach you. All ad trainers are going to teach you is a solution-aware product. They're going to teach you solution-aware. They're going to teach you, these people are already looking for this. So go to this low-hanging fruit and do this ad. Hey, want this? Buy it here. That's people who are solution-aware. Like someone who's aware of different products that heal leaky gut, right? So they're aware, and now your argument and your ad changes from let me educate you as to what the solution is. It's all these herbs. Now they're aware that what herbs cleanse leaky gut. Now they're just looking for the right product and combination that works for them. So now they're comparing different solutions to solve leaky gut. So this is where you get into the playing the why my product is better than the other products game, which is harder to do. You can still do it. And if you know how to do it effectively, you can still have a lot of success with that. However, it's still more competitive. Whereas up here at unaware or problem aware, okay, they are a lot easier because there's less competition, because less people are competing at that level, okay? So then we move down further. The last 2 are easy because these are the people that you've now exposed to your product, but they're not completely sold yet. You just have to give more value and bonuses and social proof testimonials, all that stuff. And then you have people who are just deal aware, like they're sold, they just need the right price and the right terms, okay? So those are the 5 states of awareness. Unaware of the problem, problem aware, but not of the solution, solution aware, but not of your product yet, okay? So that would be like chiropractor, like you need a chiropractor, but you don't know which chiropractor, okay? You're still looking for them. So there's a chiropractor would come on and say, here's how I'm different from other chiropractors. Here's my proprietary method. Here's what I use, decompression therapy. Here's the therapies I use that most chiropractors don't use. That's your argument at solution aware, okay? Then you're product aware, but not sold. That is crucial, okay? Like now they're aware, But now you've got to actually justify the value. You've got to give case studies. You got to give proof, all of those things, right? And then people who are sold, they just need the right price and terms. And sometimes they just need a deadline, okay? So that's what this is. And here's in a nutshell how you specifically would address each one. So if you identify that you can find a way that what your offer has a problem that a lot of people are not aware of, what you want to do is show them that they have that problem, and then show them what life can be like without this problem, okay? Now, if you have someone who has these problems already, this is really the sweet spot for Facebook, because this is unaware of the problem is tougher to do. Okay, we don't recommend starting there, but when you learn how to do this, you can eventually get to that point, right? You don't climb in the ring with Ali because you think you can box, right? So here you address the problem and educate them on why your solution gives the problem. So you meet them where they're at, address the problem, but then educate them on why. So like with the supplement, it's like, okay, here's what solves leaky gut. These herbs help solve leaky gut in this particular blend. It helps better than anything else, and it's safe. So that's like, and you list the herbs. You're educating them on this problem. Here, for leaky gut, it's your unique selling proposition. What makes you different from other leaky gut supplements, right? This is your argument for why your solution is best out of all solutions. We have these 3 ingredients that no other supplement has, and it makes the big difference, and it's safer, and it happens faster, and less, no pain. Boom, that's your argument, okay? Then if they're aware of the product, they're not fully sold yet, you got to talk, things that make you different. You got to show results, maybe show testimonials. You got to give a guarantee, right? You got to give some social proof, or which could be testimonials, or show case studies, or demonstrate your product, okay? And then here, they already want the product. They just need the right price and terms. They need a deal or a deadline, right? That's sometimes the case, okay? So what we call blue oceans is problem aware and unaware, okay? Problem aware and unaware. But you can still play in a red ocean. Now, red ocean is like where there's blood in the water, there's sharks, there's not a lot of fish to go around, and you can barely see because they're just getting killed. There's too many fish, too many fishers, and too many sharks. So what you've got here, you can still be successful at solution aware, but you just got to know how to differentiate yourself. Our templates walk people through formulas. Our solution aware templates walk people through formulas that allow you to actually create an argument that works, okay? But we also have problem aware templates and unaware templates. We have templates for all these levels, okay? So let me show you an example, right? So Irina, right? She's a social media copywriter as well, really good storyteller. So she wrote an ad, and we did this as a favor to our friend who was selling his book. And it was a book on Facebook ads, which had similar stuff, not exactly what we teach, but similar stuff. We did this a few years ago, right? Before we created this product. And so we did this as a favor where she wrote an 800-word story ad. Okay, this is the first page. This is the second page, all right? And this is the third page. She told her story of learning Facebook ads over the last 8 years. And this is problem aware, right? Look at the headline. If I've learned anything from scaling Facebook ads in the last 8 years that sustained steady ROI, it's certainly this. Algorithm changes have very little to do with it. So what problem am I addressing? Scaling Facebook ads, right? So scaling Facebook ads, what problem does it address? I've met them where they're at, because a lot of people have a problem when they get initial results, but they can't scale, okay? So she told her whole story about this, meeting them at the problem, told her stories, about 800 words, 760 or something, 780, something like that. And here's what happened. That book, she started making sales for about 15 bucks to the book, which was about break even, okay? That just shows like one campaign, which was like 1,000 sales right there. But here's the thing that happened. Here's the thing that happened. He had an upsell for $100. And because of that, every $15 sale that we made, because there was a lot of people that took that upsell and an order bump for like $33, it averaged out to about every time we made a sale, he made about $60. So you can see the average cost was about 15 bucks per sale, but he was making $60 for every sale he made. So he spent 15 to make 60. That is a 4-to-1 ROI, right? So spend $1, make 4, okay, all day. We had to turn these ads off because he ran out of books. He was selling them so fast. This book later became the #1 bestseller in the world on Facebook ads a few years ago. Now, obviously, it's, not totally outdated, but less relevant because that's the way things have to be updated, right? And I agree with, although I agree with a portion of what's in the book, I don't agree with everything that's in the book, okay? So we created this course, but the point is we helped sell it and we made it the #1 best. We were part and parcel making it the #1 best-selling book in the world on Facebook ads, okay? Which I don't know if it is now, because it's, aged a little bit, but that's not the point, okay? So how does she do this, okay? This is this epic story formula that we were telling you about. So I'm telling you a couple layers deep, okay? It's still the same: engage, present, illustrate, convert, okay? And then I break that down into each of these sections, which is, bigger parts, but then also each of these break down into 3, each of these bullets break down into 3 specific things you need to check off to do in these particular points, okay? And so there's actually 24 different points that when we even miss one of them, it doesn't work that well, okay? So this is specific, like you can try to work it from here. I'm giving you so much more than anyone else would give you right now for free, okay? So, but this is the formula, okay? Now I want you to see the difference, because then I did an unaware ad, right? I was selling software for that company years back that I was telling you about that did 200 million in 5 years, right? So unaware tapping belief systems, okay? So now I'm going to completely unaware people and I'm bridging to a common bond that people can relate with, and then telling a story that introduces the problem and the solution, okay? So what I did is I randomly went to the law of attraction niche, and I used a headline that was very similar. It said how the law of attraction did not work for me for 15 years until now. Here's what actually stopped me. Now what I'm doing is I've got a common relatable bond, because at the time the law of attraction was like a big thing, okay? This ad's a few years old. It was a big thing. It's not now. Don't try to go to that now. It's kind of fallen off, right? But at the time I was milking it really well with this particular one. And what I basically was telling my story through the lens of using the law of attraction, whether or not you believe in it or not, with my passion, and using software that helped me create blogs and create stuff that allowed me to live my dream life. And so what I did is I tapped into a belief system, which was law of attraction at the time. Don't do this now, it doesn't work. The thing's been ripped off and copied so much. But then I had a 1,500-word story ad, which led them to believe that buying my software and training and learning how to be a digital nomad was the way to go, okay? So that's the first page. That's the second page. Third page. Fourth page. Fifth page. Okay. So this was about 1,500 words. Now, since this time, people's attention spans have gotten shorter. So we realize now, in this day and age now, because this was a few years ago, that you need to stay around 800 words, not 1,500. But what I'm saying is I still was getting great results from this. And I spent about 5 or 6 grand on this ad, and I made myself about 105, 110 grand from this ad, selling that software, okay? So you can do it, and that's just going to tapping belief system. That's going here, right? That's going here. Well, guess what? Here's what I want you guys to know. This ad story from Irina, we derived and made a template from this. That fill in the blank template is inside our course, okay? And this is a model for you to follow. We don't have the template because we can't make it 1,500 words anymore. Like if you're really a master at this, I could probably make another 1,500 word one work, but we find that other people just starting out don't, so we don't give a template for this. But it'll give you an idea of how to understand how to craft a story and make it relevant and keep it on point. Because oftentimes people tell their own story and they say all these things that don't matter to other people and they lose people, right? So that's important to understand, okay? Now, 5 truths of Facebook ads instead of fallacies. Instead of getting a cheap lead, we get the higher qualified lead. Remember this? Remember this. Remember Brian, right? The lead costed more, right? At optimizing for a lead. It costed more when we did attendee and for purchase. So normal traditional direct response methodology would state you should use this, but they're short-sighted because we made way more money, cost per sale was way less, and actual cost per sale, right? Conversion rate's much higher, okay? So I want you to keep that in mind. So just because you get a cheap lead doesn't mean that's what you want. Instead of like, here's the example. Traditional marketers will teach you like, hey, you pay $2, you make $3, okay? That's what you're gonna get for a cheap lead because they're unqualified, they don't convert as high. But if you pay $3 for a lead, and instead you make $7 for every $3, which one would you prefer? Obviously, the $3 to make $7 is gonna make you way more money per dollar for dollar, right? So with that being said, you always want to get a higher qualified lead. I don't want you to worry so much about the cost, just a higher qualified lead. Now, oftentimes, because you get your elements right, your lead cost is lower anyway, but I want you to understand the differences. Like, it's okay. You need to be able to bid and pay higher when you're scaling and you're competing with others. You need to be able to bid higher and still be profitable. That's how you win against other big competitors. You're willing to pay more for a lead because your margins are better. If you don't have those margins, you can't pay that much for a lead and your competition beats you. This is where the professionals play, okay? Now measuring your ad by click ratio rather than the cost per click. Click ratio to see if they're actually consuming your content. And if your click ratio is like 1-to-1, then that means they're not clicking play or they're not clicking see more to read your ad. They're just literally clicking learn more right away, or that whatever button call to action button you have on your ad, which means they're not consuming your content and they're not pre-qualified and they're not going to convert as well, okay? So instead of short ads, we write longer, more in-depth ads that convert better, allowing Facebook's algorithm to optimize for higher qualified users. What we've been talking about the whole time. And also optimizing for the ultimate goal, more purchase than page view, okay? You guys get that from Brian's example. And then back to taking attention naturally with proper context and all of your elements using a headline formula that's relevant to the right audience, instead of this broad, wide net that's so broad that you're kind of trying to be everything to everybody, instead of being specific. You know, everything to everybody just makes you nothing to nobody. But when you make proper context, now you're being specific to an exact market that the algorithm can optimize to go find, okay, in most cases. So 20 to 40 cents a pop for email subscribers. Chris, we're just using this in the first 48 hours for an e-com launch, all right? Chris Chia, basically his ad results were 5 times better. So here's his ads. Down here, the old numbers before Epic Ads, right? 1% CTR all, 1.94, so basically like there, and CTR links, 0.59, 0.58. And then after Epic Ads, right? After Epic Ads, CTR all 5.25, 5.08, CTR link 1.64, 1.92, click ratios near perfect, and 5 times better than his old ads. Old ads are down here, and these are 5 times, 5x better, higher, okay? This is where the 2x to 5x fill in the blank ad templates come in, okay? So, same thing for Jason. To a webinar in the health space, right out of the gate, it started performing, and right now, after 6 days, it has a positive return on ad spend of 3.28. Okay, CTR alls, I know you can't see that. I got to get a better screenshot. 15.62. CTR link 6.45. Perfect click ratios. Okay. So, all right, guys. Was this worth your time? Did you get what you came here for? Let me know in the chat. I need to see reaction here. All right. Let me know in the chat. Okay. Did you get what you came here for? And this is our offer. Okay. So it's got a template for every tested template for every ad template for every level of upside, which is unaware, problem aware, solution aware, your product aware, and deal aware. Okay. And a video template. So literally giving you the outline to make the videos with, along with the text, okay? So code to conversions, 6 modules, 18 social rules of engagement, 22 plus headline formulas, feel safe text epic ad templates, there's 4 of those, epic long copy story ad formula, epic and video ad formulas, 4 more of those, okay? And actually there's 9 altogether now. And then our setup, optimization, and troubleshooting process, okay? So this works for all niches and industries like we talked about, physical products, e-commerce, business owners, local businesses, info marketers, coaches, consultants, agencies, okay? If you want to take advantage of our exact frameworks, processes, outlines, and templates that we use in our agency every day, which can be used for any ad on Facebook or Instagram, then Code to Conversions is for you, okay? Social rules of engagement, 18 rules for how we translate ads to the language of Facebook, help you speak the language of Facebook, okay? Find out the biggest mistakes people make that attract the wrong people, attract 2 to 5x more Facebook users, okay? That's an hour. You'll be blown away at these because everyone who goes through this first module is like, this will change your life. Literally, people say that in our group, okay? Our engagement formulas, which there's 22 plus. So you have like 22 above creative headline formulas and they're scattered among the awareness levels. But then we have like below creative headline formulas, which kind of give you like 40 different combinations you can actually use, okay? You'll learn about upside more, so how you can discover your audience's awareness level. 7 crucial headline elements. You'll learn, we taught you a few of them, but you're gonna learn more of them here. A proven list of 22 plus headline formulas that includes every upside level. Specific formulas for below the creative, all right? Learn the psychology of why these headlines work. We literally give you example. Every single one of those headline formulas shows the example of the ad and then the formula derived from it, okay? Epic ad templates, we got the client getting Rainmaker template, our webinar invite template. We're gonna be also including Brian's webinar invite template here soon, so you're gonna have a couple webinar invite templates. Our direct to cart solution template, going direct to sale for anything really. The buyer multiplier template, that's also going direct to sale, okay, a couple of those. Our offer analysis worksheet, this is where you look at ads, you can look at your offer and see if it's working right, okay? Your ideal customer formula, which is what fail-proofs your ad so that you can just fill in the blanks. Okay, you fill this out based on the questions it asks you, and then you just fill in the blanks in the templates. Okay, epic story formula. You'll learn how to go into blue ocean markets, create customers on demand, sell the story before the prospect even knows they're being sold, target niches that are generally considered out of reach and convert. You'll be able to use our credible witness story template, okay, which is the one that Irina had there. Video ad formulas. So video and text combination templates, what not to do in your video. And then we got these 4 different templates, okay? Setup optimization and troubleshooting. You see our full ad creation process, how we test. You'll learn our code for properly reading your metrics. And then you'll also have our troubleshooting checklists, okay? Super helpful that when your ad isn't working and you look at the metrics and the troubleshooting checklist says, well, if this metric and this metric is off, then you need to address either this or this in your ad. These message points, these things, okay? So you know how to actually fix them, okay? Once again, all of this has been tested and proven on lots of ad spend, okay? So we've seen enough of this to know, okay? This is not theory or fluff, okay? So what's your cost to come with us? You get all this, 6 modules, okay? And these values, like you seriously, a total value right now, even just in the main stuff without bonuses, $47.97, okay? Seriously, guys, this is like, this stuff, people tell me they would have paid that much for each of these modules by themselves, okay? And if all this did was double your return on ad spend by 100%, okay? Think about that for 6 straight months. Think about what that would be in your business. Then a year. I want you to understand the long-term play here. Yeah, you may not make your money back your first month, but you're gonna have this. This is evergreen. This is not something that goes out of style. This is the messaging. This is the last Facebook ad course you'll ever need to buy, because it's about the messaging, the part that matters. The mechanics and the optimizations, all that stuff, that'll continue to change. But if you have your message down, it makes all that optimization stuff not as important, because you have the core of what works and you can figure out the rest, okay? So here's the thing. You're not gonna pay $47.97. You're not even gonna pay our regular price of $19.95 for the next 120 hours right now, one-time payment of $9.97. And if you want, you can do 2 payments of $5.97, okay? So You still get instant access to everything with the $597. Okay, the $997 allows you to take advantage of some of our special completion guarantees. Okay, right away. So you'd have to wait till you pay your second payment before you get your completion guarantee, which is a 1 personal hour with me. Okay, but this is not just like your typical run-of-the-mill stuff. Like, this is a full thing. Okay, this actually gives you everything and gives you support. Okay, so here's the question we get the most. What if you follow the templates and they don't seem to work as well as you expect them to? That's okay, makes sense, right? We have recorded deep dive webinars on each module. So when we released this earlier, we released the module, and then we did a live Q&A deep dive module where we went into being actionable and answering every single question on that webinar. Okay, they all went like 2 to 3 hours. Okay, so we have them for each module. Okay, you'll see every possible question asked. You'll get clarity on the teaching. You'll learn by me giving feedback and actually critiquing some ads in some of these webinars. Okay, so that's solid. So if you really want to get deep and you're the type that likes to geek out on this stuff, you get those deep dive webinars. Okay, so what if I have a question after the webinars? How do I get support then? Welcome to lifetime access for our Conversion Coders Facebook group. Okay, get same day feedback from informed members who understand what you're trying to accomplish. Okay, you get lifetime access as long as you be cool. Don't go in there trying to pitch people. Okay, we're here to help each other. All right, but what you can do is you can post your ads inside the group to get feedback and coaching. You can crowdsource your ad copy from ads that are proven to work. Okay, because other people post their ads and you can see what's working. All right, makes sense, right? Look, priceless, like worth the price of admission right there. Okay, so then also you get an empathy map training, which really helps you dial in how to create stories. So if you want to sell with stories, right? Irina did a special live 2.5-hour empathy map session. Okay, and here's somebody who been in the industry for a long time, Ken. He said that is one of the best calls I've ever been on. Invested a lot in courses over the years, spent a lot of cash, and that call was probably one of the most powerful ever. Thank you and great work. Okay, so just that, we were thinking about selling that training by itself separately, but we decided to throw it in here to sweeten the deal for you guys. Bonus number 4, Epic Ad Formula. Okay, 5 lessons. This is the basics of the Epic Ad Formula you guys saw. Okay, so you get the basics of it all and examples and a cheat sheet and able to define this stuff. Okay, that's included with your course. And then the cool thing is our completion guarantee. So here's my promise to you. All right, finish the entire program, use the worksheets to create your ad, submit your ad. Okay, run your ad, get at least 1,000 impressions, record your results, and then submit your results on your application once you finish the course and you've ran the ad. When you do, I will personally give you 1 free 60-minute personal coaching call where I'll get on a screen share Zoom like this, and I'll go through your ad and I'll help you with it. If it worked, we'll make it better. If it didn't work, we'll fix it. And I'll look at your offer as well and make sure it's all congruent. I'll give you 60 minutes to do that. This is what I offer to those who finish, because I want to see people finish. And I want to get your, selfishly, I want to get your testimonial if it works, right? We like to gather testimonials. You're going to see some of those, okay? And so this is, if you do the $597 to pay, then all that means is you pay $597 now, $597 in 30 days. You can only redeem your completion guarantee once you've paid your second payment. If you pay $997 right away, as soon as you finish the course, you can redeem your completion guarantee, okay? So guys, I charge $800 an hour for personal consulting. I'm not kidding either. That's public, that's known, that's very well known. I'm going to give you an hour of that for picking this up within this time frame. Okay, so here's the bonuses, all worth $21.90. Add that stuff up, including my completion guarantee, personally with me. Okay, $800 value. All right, so all of that, including the bonuses down here in red. Deep dive, 6 deep dive webinars, Facebook group, empathy map, Epic Ad Formula, 60-minute completion guarantee. Okay, put that all together, add all that up, $68.87 in value. Okay, and here's where you're going to go. Click that link, and it's real simple. If you want the 1 pay, this is the pay. If you click that link in the chat, this is where it's going to take you. You got the 1 pay here, okay, and then the 2 pay right below it. Click the top one if you want the 1 pay. Click the bottom one if you need the 2 pay. Okay. So another thing here, real quick, is this is going to take you to this page. But I want you to understand, I have something else for you. Some of you are already at the point where you want to be able to scale. And you want to make your ads better. You want to learn how to retarget. You want to scale. You're a little more like, you know you're going to get there soon, or you're already there. So what we did is we have a retargeting module and a scaling module that we offer as a bump, okay, an order bump right here below on that page, okay? You can take advantage of this at the $9.97 or the $5.97 level. It's a one-time $297. We sell that publicly for $500, okay? We sell that for $500 publicly. This is the only place you can get that for $297. Okay, now what that is specifically is I did a full 3.5-hour marathon webinar where I revealed the exact retargeting schemes and the ads we used with one of our clients, digital marketer actually. And so you get to see like our full process on how we do our retargeting differently than anything you've ever been shown before. I promise you that. And our full repository. So it actually has a document of 12 different ads that we've used in our retargeting, and you get the links literally to the live link on Facebook of theirs. We have a full document, clickable links, you can look at all the ads, okay? And then you learn about the audience to budget ratio formula that allows you to keep getting impressions, which is a problem a lot of people have when they're retargeting, they don't get impressions. I'll show you this little elusive audience to budget ratio that Facebook never tells you about that we figured out is why we actually can get impressions, okay? So on top of that, that's the retargeting schemes. And for this order bump, still the bonus, right? SPS scaling, this is not bonus, but this is bump, right? SPS scaling system. This is our SPS scaling system. It has our scale checklist needed before you start to scale, how to set your right foundation, and how to keep your ad spend super efficient that grows safely, okay? So if you want that, then what you're gonna do is fill this out right here. You just check that box and it'll charge you $297 on top of your $997. And if you're doing the $597 to pay, your first payment will be $894 because it's gonna add the $297 to it. And then the next pay will be $597 in 30 days, okay? So there we go, all right? So next thing here, template time. All right, you guys still here? You still with me? All right. So here we go. Right here down below, see on your payment page, right? Right here. If you go down below it, if you scroll down, you're going to see the click here to download the direct cart solution aware template. I got, you know, this is the part where someone inevitably who's trying to listen only from audio and not video is going to ask me in the chat, how do I get the template? I'm showing you right now. So you better look up, you better pay attention because it's right here. Click this link, okay? And it's going to take you to the template, which actually shows how this works, okay? So I'm going to actually do that right now. Show you where this goes. So when you click that link, it takes you to a page that actually has an instructional video on how to use this template, okay? And then it has the yellow button here on how to actually download the template. See? So it's actually got the outline, all right? And then when you click it to download the template, it actually pulls up. So you've got it in your browser, okay? Then you can just download it real simple, right? Click on the download. But it actually shows the 12 steps that are being accomplished inside of your ad. Okay, so you know exactly what needs to be accomplished. This is important. But then it actually has the fill in the blank, actual like fill it right in. Okay. Now this offer went to this particular ad, which was Chris's selling his Spotify profits, right? Remember, this was for $37 offer and had a video on his landing page. Okay. So he still had some selling going on there. And it was a product that barely anybody else has. So if you use this for a super competitive product, you're going to need to do more of an argument for why your product is better. And if you do that, you're going to need to do that about right here. Okay, so where it's like, it's so much easier to do this rather than this, you may as well take advantage of it. And then right here, you need to start making a case for like most products. You know, most solutions have this problem, and here's how we fix it. Here's what we do differently. So you're going to have to make more of a case. So some of you are going to come back to me and be like, Chris, it doesn't work. Well, for one, you may not have defined your right elements, okay? That's one thing that'll, no matter what you do, it won't work. And two, if it's a super competitive offer, this particular template was not designed for a super competitive offer. I'm making it a simple one for those of you who are doing simple offers. I can't give you a super complex one at first because you're just getting introduced to this. I'm giving you the beginner template. I'm giving you the most simple template that we have so you can try it out. Doesn't mean it's gonna work, but you're at least gonna get the idea like, okay, I can make this work. Then the more advanced templates come in our course. But I wanted to prove this to you and show you how this works, okay? So that's what you get. All of the templates inside of code are like this, okay? So with that, a few things here. Candace, she's in our group. She's a copywriter. She was actually a copywriter before she came in. The more of code to conversions I'm exposed to, the more amazed I am at the detail, clarity, and brilliantly systemized structure of every single piece. Thank you, Chris. Your work here is throwing mind-blowing. Important, definitely goes far beyond the bounds of only a Facebook ad writing course. Meanwhile, this element is, of course, itself genius, okay? Anyways, I'm beyond thrilled and pretty darn honored to be doing this program, okay? So pretty cool there, right? There's more than just Facebook ads. John, still going through the training, and at the risk of sounding like some adolescent fanboy, I have to say this course is the single best investment I've ever made in my agency and our Facebook advertising strategy. Just amazing. Thank you for creating this, Chris. How cool is that, right? So here's what you do. Click the offer in the chat, go pay, get the order bump for retargeting and scaling if that's where you see yourself being at very soon. Usually with these ads, you will. After payment, you'll be directed to the confirmation page. You'll receive your login credentials via email, okay? And it may take 5 to 10 minutes. Then you'll receive your special bonus Epic ad formula as well in there, okay? And then the first module inside the course is how to access the group. Okay, it's instructions on how to access our Facebook group, and you need to be able to use the email. Post the email when you request access. It asks you a question: what's the email that you use to buy? We have to cross-reference you because it is a paid-only group. Only if you buy are you going to be allowed to be a part of Conversion Coders. Okay, so it's only people in there who know and are trying to do what you do. They understand. Because if you tried to write a long copy ad and give it to someone who doesn't understand this, they're going to be like, "That's too long. That's not going to work." Because one, they're not the market, they don't know any better. But when you put it in a group of everyone who understands these long copy ads and knows what you're trying to accomplish, and some of them are having success too, then they can confirm to you if you're on the right track or not, okay? So you wanna be inside that group, okay? Another thing, another physical product. Tim, through Code of Conversions training, we've been able to increase our ad spend from $195 a day to $1,600 a day. Increased our monthly revenue by 338% in the last 4 weeks. And with the improvements we've implemented during Code, I'm confident in hitting 7 figures in the next 12 to 18 months. Crazy is that? Here's some more. Lance, way over delivering. Best course on ads in general I have ever taken. Chris, I agree. Roderick, hats off, brilliant guys. Tom, brilliant. Brandon Carter, 7-figure influencer, okay? 7-figure fitness influencer, really well known. I said, content is amazing, definitely the best copywriting course I've ever took. I had to kind of like make sure to tell him, I don't even like to call it copywriting because then I get flack from traditional copywriters. I say it's social media copy and it's fundamentally different. Nothing else like this on the planet. So, Veet, can't rub my eyes for the first time I've ever managed to get a relevant score of 10. Nice, all right. Damn, Tom Evers, damn Chris, leveraging my expertise. Did a few online courses yet, never experienced this value before. Maybe I should write a testimonial. Mike Renard, yeah, loving the social rules of engagement. Been through so many courses, and this stuff is breakthrough for sure. Testing a lot of it. I mean, 100% the best course I've ever taken, even for someone like me who was terrified, seen Power Editor 2 years ago. Like, guys, this is screenshots right outside of the group or from private messages from people. Steve, first time he's ever made a profit. He spent $388 in ad spend and made over $1,600 in commissions. He says right down here, this is in the 3rd paragraph, this is the first time in 2 years that I've been running ads that I got a positive ROI on ad spend. It's still early, but this course has been a complete game changer for me. Roderick, been using what you taught on our calls, getting 2 to 1. Seriously, I asked him. He said, my client's copywriter genius got 50% results. He's getting 2 to 1, which is basically 200%, right? So he quadrupled up on the result. I guess more like doubled the result of the copywriter. A professional copywriter, and you guys know why, because traditional copy doesn't work too well. And he just, look at that, I just copy and pasted your formula. All right, beating out copywriters. And you saw that one from Kenneth, and Tim. So on top of that, one last bonus for you. So I'm now implementing, and we're starting this next week, code critiques, where I get on and we take first come, first served ads, and I review the ads, I review their funnels, and I help rewrite the ads and give critiques on people's ads live. I can't tell you how many times I've had people who tell me that this is more training. They learn more from watching me redo ads here than anywhere else. But you can only be a part of code critiques if you get code to conversions, because it's all based on code methodology. And this is where I take people deeper, and I actually do critiques. Now, it doesn't guarantee that you can get that your ad will be reviewed, because we have a lot of people that will probably be submitting, but it's a good likely chance that we can eventually, right? So what happens is this is going to be $97 a month. It's an extra product. But as a part of buying this for during this promotion, okay, before the timer runs out, you got 120 hours basically, okay, a few days, then you get 30 days free to code critiques. So you get access to 2 live webinars and the replays of them. If you don't get to see them live, you still have the replays of them, okay? And you get that as a part of joining for free. If you don't join code to conversions, you can't even be a part of this, okay? After 30 days, you'll pay $97 a month, but you get 30 days free to see how it works, okay? So that's what I have for you guys. That's my offer. And you've now gotten the template. Some of you freebie seekers just came in here and just grabbed them and then took off. I know who you are. Go see if you can make it work, but honestly, I've given you more than anyone else has given you, and I've given you as much as I can, but ultimately it comes down to you, okay? So yes, great, yeah. Sophus, stop being disrespectful. Come on. Well, with a smiley face. Yes, I know, but understand, Sophus, that everybody doesn't hear something the first time around. I have to say things 2 and 3 times so that people get it. You notice that even when I've said things 1 and 2 times, that people are still asking the question for clarification. This is how you properly teach. So I have to go things at levels and then start to stamp down deeper into it and dig deeper into it to help expand the understanding and perception of it so that people get it. This is the type of stuff you learn through code to be able to do with your people and be more influential with your audience, okay? So, Chloe, cool, Chloe, so good, right on. Okay, so that's essentially what we have. I'm going to take questions now. All right, so here we go. Let me know the questions you have, all right? Guest 3601, dude, qualifying with funnel in the ad is epic. That's why we call it the epic ad. Hey, Desiree, I see you in there. I have to reply back to you because yes, that was actually a typo. I did get your email, okay? All right. So, Chloe, repetitively vent, I don't know what that means, sorry. This can be translated for different languages. We currently have like 5 different people that translate these templates to different languages, one being French, one being German, one's Swedish, Spanish, Portuguese, French. So yeah, we'll try this for a calligraphy course. Well, understand, like some of you, like here's the big caveat, right? There's no way I'm not going to give you guys as much as I can. But some of you are going to go and try it, and because you haven't defined your elements properly, and you're trying to go do this with a template that may not necessarily always fit every single product, it fits certain products, you may try to fit that round peg into a square hole, and it may not work. The point of giving you the template is so that you can understand what you're getting, to kind of like make it real, grab it, print it out, see it, work with it. But like understand that the real magic is inside the course. Like I'm giving you what I can to make it real and prove it to you, but just because if you find the first time around you don't get this right, that's why we have the course. That's why we have modules that build upon each other to help you fill out these templates properly. Not getting that training and trying to use the template you have here and it not working right away doesn't mean that a template doesn't work. It just means that you need more practice and being able to dial in and optimize your elements and put that all together properly, okay? So I've done everything I can to give everything I can to you guys, but at the end of the day, a couple people have come back and been like, it didn't work for me. And I was like, well, tell me your elements. Oh, you got the, well, yeah, let me ask you a few questions here. And like, we found that every single time someone comes back to me, what I hear every single time is, it didn't work for me. And I'm like, well, you filled in the blanks, but you barely thought about it and you didn't define the elements. You didn't find what the real pain was. You didn't find what the real benefit was. You just kind of threw it together. Like, nobody's gonna win being freaking lazy. Like, these templates work. They're freaking magical when you do the work and you actually understand, you actually get the pain, the benefit, the challenge. But sometimes you have to test. Sometimes you have to try multiple things. That's the cool thing. You can test for pennies. You can test for a few bucks for a different ad headline by testing different pain points, testing different challenges. Try different ones, brainstorm different ones. That's what our worksheets are for, that allows you to test which ones do work. I only get it right 2 or 3 times out of 5 or 6, like maybe less than half the time, or half the time I get them right. And that's really, really good. Most people doing Facebook ads get a good ad 1 or 2 out of 10 times. That's the average. So if you try it once and it doesn't work, that doesn't mean anything other than you haven't found the right one yet. Okay? So keep that in mind about this. I wish I could give you guys a lot of absolutes. Unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. But the absolute that I can tell you is that these formulas are superior for the human intellect, and they work. And they've worked really well. And when you get inside the Facebook group, you're going to see even more people saying how well it works. Okay? So with that, any last questions? It's Latin for repeating helps. Ah, nice clue. No one offering this service around my area. Yeah, because no one else offers it, period. We created this. This is not like, the problem is 95% of courses, guys, that's offered today, they were rehashed from some other course. It's watered down. It's rehashed and repeated to sell stuff, not to actually give value. You guys understand that, right? Everybody copies everyone and creates these courses, but it's all the same watered down crap. This is actually developed from us by me watching all these other courses and figuring out, okay, that didn't work. I can take this piece and this piece of this course and this piece and this piece, but it doesn't work that way. I have to still translate it. I had to understand all that traditional marketing before I could create this, because I had to know what didn't work. I've made all the mistakes. I've used all that traditional stuff that people still freaking teach to today. And that stuff wasn't working 5 years ago. But people buy this crap up. One thing I can promise you, and I don't make many promises, is that this stuff will, used right, it will quantum leap your results. Okay? I've seen it too many times to know better. All right? That's why lots of big names, high profile names that I'm not even allowed to say, come to us. Okay? So that's about it. I want you to join us inside the Conversion Coders group and see how much fun it is. Okay? Yes, does this work on LinkedIn? So yes, because for one, it's a superior way of marketing, period. It's going to work the same way when you post stuff and your feeds. Yes, the languaging is the same. Some of the structural nuances are a little different, but if you go through the course, you'll kind of naturally understand how that translates, because you'll understand why we do ads the way we do in the first place. And you'll be able to understand why and look at LinkedIn and go, okay, I need to do this just a little bit nuanced in a different way, but the rest is all the same. So cool, right? So yes, it can work for LinkedIn as well, absolutely. And yeah, Desiree, I know you purchased. I remember that. But yeah, appreciate it. And welcome to the family, Desiree. I was off on I was like indisposed for a few days when you came through there. Let's see, any other questions? Chloe, thank you, Chris, for this amazing webinar. You're very, very welcome. All right. Okay, any last questions, or we're gonna get out of here? Speak now or forever hold your peace. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here for the day, and appreciate you all sticking around. I know it was a little longer, a lot longer, but ultimately, no one's complaining about giving an extra, hour of content to help you make your ads work. So hopefully, if anyone here is complaining about giving extra content and teaching longer, then I really don't want you to buy this course, because you're not the type of person I want in here. Okay, we have people who want to represent themselves professionally. And so if you can't appreciate this type of content that is better than anything else out there, then please leave and please don't buy, okay? And for people who are not cool in our group and people who try to like be a problem, we kick them out of the group for not being cool, okay? So you can join this course, but if you come in there and you start to bash people or, you know, things like that, we're not gonna put up with that, okay? So just understand that we've got a really good community here. I don't wanna mess that up by bringing toxic people in here. So if you're a toxic person, stay away. But if you're a person that wants to, and here's the thing, here's the rub, guys. If you're a person that wants to understand your marketing better for everything, this is gonna give you a lens to understand your marketing on your funnels and every other type of marketing there is, even in your emails. You're gonna understand how to set better context, how to be more deliberate with the way that you write copy, how to understand how to reach people properly, how to make your ads sustain, get better ROI, better conversions, okay? If that's what you want, then this course is the thing, and you won't ever have to buy another one because we're gonna continue to update this course with more templates as we find other templates that work with our clients that we use, okay? With our clients that we consult, okay? So a couple things here. If you wanna work with us, we have also, in addition to, how can you work with us? In addition to just the course, we also do one-on-one consulting, okay? We're not taking on new ad management clients right now, okay? We're inundated with those requests, although we are putting together a group of conversion coder agencies who follow our methodologies that we can refer you to. So if you still want ad management, you can still go to our website at northnosolutions.com and fill out that type form and fill out the form saying you want that, and we'll match you up with the right person. But then you can get hourly consulting where we get on and kind of help you. We also have a service where we write the long copy ad for you and then you go do it. That's, you know, usually a couple $1,000 just to get an ad written for you professionally by somebody in my team. And then obviously my consulting blocks start at $800 an hour and then go, you know, they cost a little less when you buy them in blocks, right? And if you're a code member, you get a bigger discount, way more for being a code member, because I don't have to re-indoctrinate you and educate you over hours of stuff. We can get right to the chase after you go through the course. So basically, we're also going to be doing a mastermind and a certification for agencies where you get certified in our methodologies and our frameworks and how to run an agency and all that stuff. And we also refer clients to people. So if you get certified in the agency, for people who are asking this, we're going to be referring you clients once you get certified. And also we do a mastermind where if you're a business owner and you are looking to really make quantum leaps and be able to increase your ROIs, we also have people come out to the office here in Sedona, Arizona, and we actually work through and do like 2-day in-person intensives where we work through your message, your funnel, your ads, rewrite stuff, just make all of it better. So that's also available as well. But you can't do any of that unless you buy code. You have to be a code member or else we don't even work with you because you need to understand some of these basic concepts, okay? So just get code. Then all new worlds open up, including the code critiques, monthly code critiques for you to get better and better at. So there's a level to play at for everybody, but the start of it all to be able to take advantage of any of that stuff is get code to conversions, okay? Even if you're a business owner and you want to buy it to give it to your team member, okay? We allow, it's like kind of a 2-for-1. We allow 1 partner license, okay? So if you buy this, you have it, and then we'll give you just have to give us proof of your partner or your employee, okay? And we'll grant access 1 more license, okay? So someone can even go in on it with someone else that's like partners can go in on it, okay? So we have a partner license. And code critiques for 30 days. So I don't know of anyone who's ever given this kind of value for this price. So I hope you appreciate that. And if you don't see that, then you may not be further along in your marketing journey to be ready for this. However, I will say newbies come in here and learn this messaging stuff, and all they have to, you know, catch up on is the mechanics of learning Ads Manager. But a lot of them have still had a lot of success with this. So this is also for newbies, okay? So any level you're at, this will work, okay? And like I said, all these templates are derived from our highest converting ads. Okay, Pearl, good on you, top stuff. Thanks, guest, thank you. Sophus, good offer, I'll be back. Right on, Sophus.
Hopefully I'm saying that right. Sophus. Any product based on triggering human psychology is superior. Yeah, true. Right on, right on. Okay, with that, we're gonna close it up for today. Take care, everyone. 120 hours, get it before the price goes back up to $19.95, and you lose the bonuses. So we'll see you on the inside, guys. Take care.